Hello and welcome to Bounding Live. My name is John Chen. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics, and I am joined by my co-hosts Spencer Bakuli, Drew Taylor, and Donald Edmonds. You've got a full panel today. Thank you all for joining us. I see the chat is alive and well. We've got lots of folks already talking. Lopter, Demon King of Inferno, Father Christopher Miller is here. Mark Lesurth is here. Thank you all for joining us. We truly appreciate it. We got a big show tonight. We're going to be talking about some Star Wars, some Star Trek, and some online shenanigans from a couple a YouTube streamer and a Twitch streamer. So we're going to be talking about some of that. Yeah, I see Mark 63366 is here. So, but before we get into all of that, what was that? Is that a horse? Horse market? What is that? Before we get into all that, we're going to go what we normally do. We start every show off by going around the horn, talking about what we were doing this week, whether it was playing a video game, reading a book, and whether or not we recommend it or we don't recommend it. And we encourage you in the chat to also let us know what you have been reading, watching, or playing. I already see Lopter has already saying that he is continuing to play Monster Legends, and he got Faraday, and he's preparing for the El Colossal All-Stars. I have no idea what that is. It sounds like an event.
Yeah, a new event. That's what it sounds like.
But we'll start with you, Spencer. What have you been reading, watching, or playing?
Yeah, let's see. I have been continuing my read of Rent-A-Girlfriend and Vinland Saga. Still highly recommend both of them. Two wildly different stories, obviously, but I still, if you enjoy sort of Norse adventuring and seafaring, definitely go for Vinland Saga. Definitely got that sense of adventure. If you're looking for something a little lighter and a little more fun and comedic, I would definitely recommend Rent-A-Girlfriend. And aside from that, I just picked up Star Wars Squadrons last night, and we were talking about this a little bit just before the stream started. I like it. I like at least the gameplay wise. The multiplayer is really fun. EA didn't really screw it up that bad. The story is kind of it is what it is. But
the sequel trilogy is what it looked like to me.
It's like in between, I think.
Yeah, it's in between. Kind of.
Yeah,
it's in between, but it's still part of all of that like new lore.
Yeah, definitely. It's just not quite. There's you're not flying with Rey, and you're not doing any of that kind of stuff. It's strictly just rebel fighters and Imperial fighters. It's reminiscent of the old TIE Fighter and X-Wing games, and I loved those. Not quite as immersive, but still really good. I would pick it up if you guys ever enjoyed those games.
Yeah, if you like flying games, I agree with Spencer. It's actually a good game from the standpoint of the different game modes and the multiplayer, but when the campaign is pretty much standard fare. It's similar to like Battlefront, where first half is like just after Galactic Civil War, and then it goes further into when you're fighting the First Order and crap.
Making sure you play those non-binary rebels, right?
Yeah,
Mark 6366 asks, what pronouns did you choose for the game? For those who don't know, they introduced a character who's a non-binary character.
Except
she's a Moralian, and she uses the pronouns they, them.
I'm getting the feeling that was a huge virtue signal from whomever that writer was, because I've played, a couple hours of the story, and they have never once been referred to as they.
Yeah,
they're always referring to her like them as their name, or referring to them as part of a group. So I think it was. If they wouldn't have said anything, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah, they just call her Kyo.
Exactly.
They pretty much
in the data bank they do use they and them in the Star Wars data bank on the website.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I mean that doesn't surprise me. It's what they do with Captain Marvel. It's what they do with all of these movies in video games now. It's like they use these huge virtue signals to try and
get.
Make their game woke or something. I don't know.
I have no idea. But
it's stupid. It has the opposite effect because it takes the whole steam out of their if they're trying to get people to play the game, it takes the will to want to play out of the people when they like sit there and virtue signal like that.
I think the idea is that they want the negative marketing campaign to go up, so you get people complaining about it, then you get people to going after the complainers, and so you have a bunch of people talking about the game, and so people will buy the game. I think that's the whole idea behind it.
It is good marketing.
An infectious marketing disease.
I guess
it works in the short term.
Right. No,
I've made this argument before. I think it's effective short term. It's a horrible strategy long term, and I think we're already starting to see some of those long term effects. Obviously, with the Charlie's Angels reboot, Terminator, Dark Fate,
Terminator.
So surprisingly, though, the Star Trek Discovery Episode 3 had higher viewership numbers than the premiere. So I was actually surprised by that.
I am too, actually.
So I don't know if there's like some fudging of the numbers going on,
or if people are just that bored.
But I mean, yeah, bored on a Friday at like 10 when it comes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. But and they keep. We'll get into this a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about that before. I think it's just it's a marketing technique that they use. I don't. And Brie Larson did it pretty effectively, as you saw with the box office numbers with Captain Marvel. That's pretty much what everyone was talking about for like 3 months. All right, Drew, what are you up to?
Well, first off, it's good to just like be back with my brothers, man. I missed you guys.
We're happy to see you again, as always.
It's good to see you back.
It's been obviously up and down. I appreciate everybody's continued prayers and everything for Mom. It's been a rough go with what she's going through with starting to go into these episodes with dementia and things like that. And I've been incredibly busy just trying to put all the hours in the day to keep an eye on her, take care of her, and do things I need to do. But in the little bit of time I've had spare time now, obviously as of like yesterday and today, I started to get back into writing finally. So that makes me feel like I have a little bit of normalcy back. And then I've been dabbling here and there in the games when I have a spare hour or so, and like Spencer and I were talking about Star Wars Squadrons, I messed around with that a little bit. Besides that, haven't done a whole lot. Haven't had a chance to really sit down and watch everything. Although I may or may not have seen the New Mutants.
Really?
But
how was it?
Yeah, I actually liked the movie, even though they did really kind of push the whole romance of.
Yeah, they talked about that. They said that was going to be in there.
Yeah. They really kind of pushed that, but not. But
that was with Rain. Was it with Rain and Magic?
No, it was with Rain and Danny Moonstar.
Danny Moonstar, okay.
And I mean, I was all right with it, but there were a couple times that they kind of like,
got to make sure the Catholic character is completely changed, right?
Yeah, exactly. They kind of went overboard with it a couple of times, but other than that, the movie itself was pretty good. The powers were pretty spot on. I liked the visual effects and everything. I thought that was a really good representation of the New Mutants. And see, it's kind of a shame because like that whole thing just gets lost in the shuffle now with Disney picking it up. So it's like, yeah, well,
with the coronavirus too, and literally no one going to movie theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge problem. We're gonna have to get Tom on here to talk about that. I wish he was here to talk about that, because I think I might be being proven right here. with with the Regal shutting down and the movie industry basically going kaput over this. Because I just don't think they have the time for people to come back, and I just don't think people are interested in going to see it anymore. I think that it really is that's there. I mean, you have films out there in a lot of these states. Obviously, California and New York are still closed, but there are a lot of states that still have their theaters open, and people just aren't going to see them. I mean, I think there was 1 month that the numbers reports they only did $3 million total gross at the entire box office, which is just absolutely horrific.
Well, like the people that are in more, I guess, like strict lockdowns and things like that, and people that just don't have time to really like leave the house. I mean, I found an alternative means to watch it, and it's like a lot of people are going to do that. They're not going to go to the theater. I mean, sure, if it was under normal circumstances, I had the time to go. Yeah, I probably would have went to the theater, but hey, it is what it is, and there's a lot of people that do that now, and with the advent of streaming, yeah, people are going to sit home and watch stuff either they missed in the theater, or if these companies start making stuff straight to streaming, people are gonna take that.
For me, there's no point going. I mean, obviously I have the newborn now, so going to the theater is a lot more complicated. But even before that, I can just sit and wait. I can wait 6 months for it to come on Netflix or whatever streaming service of choice to watch it. I don't feel like I really need to go out and have that like theater experience and spend all that money on something that I'm going to get like 6 months later. Like, I'll be honest, I still haven't watched Venom. Because I can just wait for that. I can just wait for it. I hadn't watched Spider-Man: Homecoming until my wife actually went out and bought it so we could watch it before we went to see Far From Home the week and that came out. So I just didn't have any interest in seeing. I've never been a real big fan of Spider-Man. I know tons of people love Spider-Man, but Spider-Man just wasn't kind of like the character that X-Men were always. I'd rather watch X-Men than Spider-Man.
Yeah.
On Saturday mornings. So I don't know. I never really got into Spider-Man. He never was my jam. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were cooler. I guess he was too like. I liked the serious guys. I liked Wolverine. I liked Raphael. Spider-Man he wasn't serious enough for me.
Well,
that's why I like Vegeta and I like Kachan. I like those serious guys.
there's also honestly the movies that have been coming out. There's nothing really compelling that grabs you and says, man, I really want to see that. I want to go to the theater for that.
I think Dune does a little bit. I mean, it looks really cinematic. The sweeping landscapes, the Dune Sea, it does look like something you'd want to see in a theater. Other than that, but I think you're completely right. I'm not really seeing anything else like really that jumps out at me. Don's probably over here talking about like the MCU stuff, but I don't know. I'm just no interest in the Eternals. Black Widow, could care less. Humongous makes a point here. He says the attention span of people nowadays cannot process a 2-hour plus movie. I don't know. I mean, people are going to movie theaters and watching films. I mean, people are still alive that went and saw Lord of the Rings, 3-hour plus movie, and had no problems. Endgame was really long. So I think people can deal with that. I don't think that's the problem. Unless you're Chris Evans, who can't understand simple sentences and thinks that, I couldn't believe that. If you know what I'm talking about, we've got a story about Chris Evans going after the president, trying to say he's like his brain is impaired when he's just really exposing his own idiocy and lack of understanding. It's quite sad, honestly.
We're used to, I think, Hollywood having the extreme case of TDS, though. I mean,
for sure. I mean, something like that, I was just like, couldn't believe it. I was like, how can you not understand what he's saying? Just because he used the word 3 times, you think he's having issues. Like, it just really made him look like an idiot, personally, to me.
I thought the Instagram post he made would have...
that too. I was staying away from that.
most of the celebs anymore are. I mean, they're kind of idiots because they doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, jumped on the TDS train, and they're falling over themselves to see who can outdo the other in stupid takes. It's like we go through that every time. God, even researching stories. I mean, whether it's like the writers, the showrunners, the actors, the actresses, it just goes on, and it seems like, my goodness, it's the marathon. It's never ending.
I do. So I'm going to kind of switch us back to getting to what people are taking in. I saw Christopher Miller before we started the show. He was talking about an Orville comic, I believe. Let me see if I can get it up here. Yeah. He says, by the way, Bounty in Comics, the Orville comic launch day was awesome. Felt like an episode. Highly recommend it. Did that come out today? It's Wednesday, so it's new comic book day. Well, Tuesday for DC now. But yeah, so if you're interested in the Orville, Father Christopher Miller recommends that. I'll be honest, I haven't watched any of the Orville. Cover it, but I haven't watched any of it. Just like Star Trek, I don't really watch any of that stuff, but I cover it. Which similar to the actors, they don't watch any of the stuff that they're in. Nicholas Coster-Waldau, the guy who plays Game of Thrones, like I said, he doesn't even watch. He doesn't watch Game of Thrones. And his wife hasn't watched any of it, which is telling as well. It looks like Father Christopher Miller also says that he was watching Animaniacs. He asks about the new Animaniacs. I haven't watched any of it.
It was just, they've only released one little clip, and It looks good. I have hope. Father Christopher Miller. I have hope.
I assume that's on HBO Max.
No, I think it's Hulu, actually. At least
Hulu
that's
has the Animaniacs? Weren't the Animaniacs WB? Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
They were at the time, but...
I guess Hulu is producing the new Animaniacs season, so that's why it's on there.
Okay. Father Christopher Miller is clarifying the Orville is on issue 2. And it came out last week. So I guess issue 3 will come out next month.
Yeah, they lived in the Warner Brothers tower. How the hell?
And it's on Hulu now?
Yeah.
Okay.
They live in the Hulu tower now?
It's going to there.
I wonder if that was a deal that they did before HBO Max and AT&T came over. There's a licensing deal.
I feel like that's what it has to be, because you guys are totally right. What other reason is there for them not to be on HBO?
Yeah, because I know they're putting the Looney Tunes stuff on HBO, where they're changing what's his name's character, Elmer Fudd's character, where they're like taking away that he uses a rifle or something like that. I think.
Oh yeah, I remember somebody complained about that.
I know there's a meme online where Daffy Duck is just surrounded by hot women in one of his dreams.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's interesting. Is Marvin the Martian going to come and blow him up then?
I don't know. It's just
because that sounds like an episode where Daffy Duck's with Marvin the Martian.
Yeah, for real.
Or maybe he's like Marvin the Martian's like experimenting on him or something to like torture him.
I'm just saying there's the Elmer Fudd thing, which turns me off, and then there's the Daffy Duck thing, which is just like that's interesting.
Yeah. If they do it with like Marvin the Martian, I think that could work, but otherwise, it's kind of they're maybe trying to make it a little bit more adult than before.
I mean, I'm all for it.
Mark63366 says he watched Terminator Dark Fate. Action scenes were good, dialogue bad, ideas bad. The Terminator 2 callbacks are offensive. That seems to be pretty much the consensus on that film. From what I understand, I have not watched that either. But from what I understand, they kill off John Connor in like the first 5 minutes. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen that already, but that movie's almost a year old now. What else? Who else?
And just in proper, there is nothing wrong with a harem full of women surrounding Daffy Duck. That's not a problem at all.
He earned it.
So I'm not seeing anyone else really saying anything about what they're. Maybe I'm missing something. But I do see we have a couple other people that joined the chat. We got Tehillium, Roof Korean 92. You just called out Justin Proper, and then obviously we have Humongous as well. So
Humongous.
we have Karen, May, Becca Recess as well. So thank you all for joining us. So we'll get to Don now, and he can tell us how far he's gone in Dune. Give us an update.
Listen, the movie got delayed.
Has he made it? Yes, you have more time to read it now. But is it? Have you made it? Have you made it to the Fremen?
Listen, I am like Natalie Portman with her workout routine. It's.
It means you don't do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in the same place that I was before COVID started.
So they just got attacked, right?
No, even before that.
Oh, you haven't even got to where the Harkonnens?
Oh, they.
Where are you?
Paul Atreides got attacked in his room by some weird machine thingy.
Okay.
And then
on Arrakis, though. He's on Arrakis, right?
Yeah, they're on Arrakis.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that. It's been a while. Anything else? What else have you been up to since you haven't been making progress on Dune?
So, another book that I'm probably not going to make any progress on, but I strongly urge everybody to support this guy right here, Kai MFS. He decided, you know what, I'm tired of the media messing up our lore and our mythologies. Let's make our own. And I've been harping on that we should start investing into independent media, independent creation, and this is just like one of the examples of folks who are going out there and doing that. And another book that I'll probably never get around to, but pick it up and maybe you can get around into.
What's it about? What's it called? Domino?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't even opened the damn book.
Okay.
Sorry, Kai. Sorry.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good independent creation going on. I know that our former colleague Jorge, he has a book out. He finished up his horror novel, and I know that's on Amazon. So, there's just a lot of good stuff that people are doing during lockdown time.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff before that as well. I recommend Doug Ernst's and Timothy Lynn's Soul Finder, Demons Match. It's about an exorcist priest, and he's having to take on some demons up in Maryland. It's really interesting.
He look like Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
But that's a Dave Dorman cover, man. That is Dave Dorman cover on that. Awesome Star Wars artist.
He looks like Scott Bakula. That's great.
Maybe that's who he modeled him after, but he's working on the second one, so I'm really looking forward to that. He showed me some preview pages. It looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that. As for me, what I've been playing some Elder Scrolls Online. I'm trying to figure out exactly what kind of character I want to play, whether it's like a Templar or a Warden or whatever. I think I'm playing right now I'm settling on my Khajiit. I was playing a Warden for a little bit, but I think I'm settling on my Khajiit Templar as he roams around Skyrim right now. Western Skyrim outside of Solitude. They just had some Greymoor expansion, so I picked that up. And then I've also been watching some I rewatched the first 14 episodes of Iron-Blooded Orphans, Gundam.
Nice.
That's what Iron-Blooded Orphans. Nice. It's absolutely I know there's a lot of people apparently that are Tomino purists, and they don't like anything outside of Tomino and the UC. I don't get that. I think there's I think there's a lot of really good
stuff. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of really good Gundam stories that you can tell. Unicorn is fantastic, which that does take place in UC, but I think that's not Tomino.
I don't think it's Tomino, but yeah, it's UC.
And then Iron-Blooded Orphans is just super good. It's basically about a bunch of child soldiers who are able to. One of them is able to pilot the Barbados Gundam, and they are escorting. At least right now, they're escorting. What's her name? Something Bernstein. Her name is like, she's got like 3 names, and she's like this representative of Mars who's trying to push for an independence movement with Earth, and she's going to negotiate basically Mars having more economic freedoms and not being under the thumb of this organization called Gallarhorn, which has basically been in control of humanity for the past 300 years after they ended the Calamity War with the creation of like 72 Gundams, and one of them is the Barbados. So this is a 300-year-old Gundam, and it's now being piloted by basically an enemy of Gallarhorn. So it's really good. If you like Gundam stories, I recommend it so far. I'm about 15 episodes in. We just saw the first kind of Gundam fight, true Gundam fight. He's been fighting other mobile suits, but this time we actually saw him fight another Gundam frame in the Gusion, I think is what it's called. And that was really a fun fight. The Gusion is piloted by a guy named Kadal Kadel, I think is his name. Great villain name, I think. So there's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of emotions in that. It hits all the right moments for a Gundam show. You get the cool, awesome Gundam fights. You get the sorrow and sadness and the utter devastation that usually is happening with the characters in Gundam. But then you also get those moments of elation, and then you get the political intrigue as well. So there's a lot. I definitely recommend it. It's on Netflix. I think it's on Crunchyroll. I think Hulu has it too. I'm watching it on Netflix right now. So I definitely recommend that. And then I'm also playing some Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle on my phone when I get a chance. So that's always fun too. And then I was reading some of the old school Dragon Ball Z stuff. I did a pinup story. So I was doing some research on the Androids and Cell saga on Android 18, and I was just in absolute awe of the artwork in there. You just don't get that type of stuff in Western comics nowadays. Literally like constant action, back to back to back to back, and it's just really entertaining, and you read it so quickly. It flies by. That's just how entertaining it is. So I definitely recommend going through the old Dragon Ball Z stuff, the manga specifically, if you haven't done that already. Highly recommend it. And you can do that if you get a subscription to Shonen Jump, which I just purchased. So that's how I was able to do that. So that's a lot of fun. But let's get into our main topic of the night, or like our lead-in topic. Pablo Hidalgo appears to be trying to retcon the story of how the sequel trilogies came about. He published a new book. What is it called here? That's not what I want. This one. Published a new book titled Star Wars Fascinating Facts, Story, Lore, and History from the Greatest Galaxy. Pablo Hidalgo. It's really ugly. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a really ugly cover.
Wow.
The color scheme is horrendous.
The cover to that other Star Wars book too that we covered. I think it's just called the Star Wars book. That was really ugly too.
Yeah, Well, that's what they can't do beauty anymore. We talked about that last week, and they prove it over and over again. But in this book, he claims that George Lucas originally had Luke Skywalker die in Episode 8. So that would be The Last Jedi, right? Episode 8 is The Last Jedi. So we got a nice little. Here's the page from the book. Look. This is literally the content, like you're getting a single sentence for an entire page. I just want to point that out too. Like it's just you don't even get there's no good imagery either. It's just literally one sentence, a headline in one sentence.
Battle in the background. I don't know. That is not good book production,
dude.
I think it's
made just a pattern like that this morning.
I think that's just someone taking their paintbrush and throwing it at the canvas.
Oh, you're right.
That is Star Wars at all.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's more of just a splatter thing.
Yeah.
It's same
really
what
bad.
I did this morning.
That's like
you do it in the toilet though, right?
That looks like a bad Rorschach.
We try.
Yeah,
we try.
That's what that looks like.
You're right, dude. Totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
my God. And like, how do you write something like that? This is like a book that, like, is this reading for I don't know, preschool level?
I don't
I
know.
mean, my goodness, what the hell?
He's challenging their intelligence level.
He is definitely challenging his readers' intelligence levels because he leaves out key facts that contradict his actual statements here. But he writes, years before The Last Jedi began development, the treatment left behind by George Lucas in 2012 also had Episode 8 be the one wherein Luke Skywalker would die. But Mark Hamill said in an interview with IGN that he was going to die, his character was supposed to die in Episode 9. I happen to know that George didn't kill Luke until the end of Episode 9 after he trained Leia, which is another thread that was never played upon in The Last Jedi. So someone is fibbing here, or we're not getting the full truth. It's possible that there could have been like a really early draft that had Luke dying, and then it was changed, so that it's possible that could have happened. But there's definitely some discrepancies here, and we'll see that there's a lot more discrepancies as we get on.
No, Pablo's a noob, dude. He always comes out like he's some kind of authority, like he's in the know, and yeah, I understand that he's close to things because he's in the writing group, but it's like, come on.
He is a Lucasfilm employee.
Yeah, but still, it's like, dude, I think a lot of his problem is his own self-importance. The guy thinks he knows it all and he doesn't. So I think he's the one that's embellishing here.
And I think being employed by Lucas means you know less now.
Makes
sense.
100%. As we've routinely pointed out, that they changed their canon from one paragraph to another in their like official books.
They change it every day. I mean,
yeah, they can't explain things on Twitter. They contradict each other.
Right.
I was reading something that someone was saying that the whole the idea of Palpatine cloning or creating the clone and that clone being Rey's dad was came from Twitter. But I thought that was in the novelization. So maybe they saw that Twitter thread and they had to put that in the novelization or something. I don't know. I'm not sure on that. But I always thought that was just from the novelization. And then obviously you find out that they just contradict themselves so bad when they actually explain that. But so let's back to this article here. Not only did Hamill detail that Luke wasn't supposed to die until Episode 9, but he also explained that George Lucas had written an overall arc for the trilogy, something he says Disney did not do. George had an overall arc if he didn't have all the details. He had sort of an overall feel for where the sequel trilogy was going, but this one's more like a relay race. He's talking about Disney now. You run and hand the torch off to the next guy. He picks it up and goes. Ryan didn't write what happens in 9. He was going to hand it off to originally Colin Trevorrow and now JJ. It's an ever-evolving, living, breathing thing. Whoever's on board gets to play with the life-size action figures that we all are. Wow, that's really sad. You're referring to yourself as a life-size action figure. So, again, Ryan Johnson actually confirmed that. It's now deleted. He deleted all his Twitter, if you didn't know. But he deleted most of it. He deleted almost all his Star Wars stuff. But he said, I'm sure they talked about where it might go early on, but when they came to me, there was no mapped story presented beyond The Force Awakens. So Hidalgo would seemingly try to claim that Luke's depiction in The Last Jedi was part of Lucas's original treatment that Disney purchased from him. So he wrote, although Luke only barely... Here, we'll just go down to the thing. Oh, well, it's harder to read there. I'll just read it here. Although Luke only barely appears in The Force Awakens, the concept artist had a lot to imagine based on the fragments of the story they were hearing as it developed. Rey was on a mission to seek out Luke Skywalker, who had disappeared. As described, George Lucas... Or I think it's supposed to be as described by George Lucas, Rey is like Willard going upriver, seeking out Colonel Kurtz, an allusion to Apocalypse Now. The story had Rey find Luke on a Jedi temple planet, but he is a recluse withdrawn into a very dark space and needs to be drawn back from despair. He then wrote Lucas approved one striking piece by Christian Altman that embodied this incarnation of Luke. So you have this Colonel Kurtz Walker. So he's basically trying to imply that like this dark, depressed Luke we meet in The Last Jedi was originally George Lucas's idea. This guy like cut himself off from the Force was trying to say this was George Lucas's idea, which I'm not sure that that's the truth or not. We do know that there was concept art created, so Altman did indeed share the concept art. He says it was completed in January 2013. That's after Disney purchased the company, but he did say that George looked at it and described it as fabuloso. Here's the concept art. It looks kind of like what we got in Force Awakens and The Last Jedi.
He looks like an old samurai.
Looks like an old fish.
Yeah. I agree with Spencer. He looks like an old samurai. Looks good. I think he looks like a fish. What kind of fish are you looking at?
The ones at the bottom of the ocean.
Okay. So you have that there. So Altman here, it says in the Instagram post that my first image I made for Star Wars The Force Awakens, this was January of 2013. Luke is being described as a Colonel Kurtz type hiding from the world in a cave. So if you haven't seen Apocalypse Now, Colonel Kurtz is basically goes rogue during Vietnam, and he's executing people, Vietnamese people who he believes are spies. I think the military orders a guy to go in and try and bring him in and kill him. He kills that guy, and then they bring in another guy to like assassinate him. And he eventually he talks to the guy and says like, yes, kill me, make it over my sin. Like he basically feels overcome by his own sins, and he wants the guy to kill him to kind of end his despair. So I mean, you do have this from Altman saying that Lucas did look at it and kind of described him as this kind of despairing character. But I would gather that despair is probably shown in a much better way than it is shown in The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
it doesn't come from trying to assassinate your nephew.
They didn't make him like full on emo and partially sociopathic. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
You know, the way that they did in the sequel trilogy. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm all for being disillusioned and kind of maybe not losing your way, but becoming withdrawn. But yeah, the way they did it in the actual movies was terrible.
Yeah. And for me, it seems like Hidalgo is trying to excuse the depiction of Luke Skywalker in this.
Yeah, for real.
Oh yeah, what he's doing is essentially sitting here and trying to do cleanup PR and justify the sequel trilogy because they know how bad that it's gotten roasted by us and by the people in the Phantom Menace and everybody else, and just other fans in general. No, it's very rare you run into people that like the sequel trilogy, and if you do, usually it's the three big letters SJW.
So, yeah, and they usually like The Last Jedi. They still don't. Even the Last Jedi people don't like The Rise of Skywalker, and I think they like The Last Jedi mainly because of the relationship that's established between Kylo and Rey.
Yeah, the Rey lows,
and it has nothing to do with actual like the lore of Star Wars. Or how the lore works, or like progressing the story of Star Wars. It's more about the relationship with Rey and Kylo.
The shippers.
Yeah. So I do see this comment from the Sentinel. He says Luke would never be Colonel Kurtz in any way, shape, or form. For him to be would be out of character. I think you're right from what we know of Luke's character, how he literally in the Return of the Jedi throws his lightsaber down. Lets the Emperor like pretty much kill him because he refuses to turn to the dark side. He's basically going to become a martyr and refuses to join the side of evil, to join the dark side. So yeah, I think you're right on that point, but he is still human. And I don't think that you could probably write a decent story explaining why he might have gone into this despair. Maybe he, like the Jedi before him during the Clone Wars, he gets involved in some kind of conflict, possibly with Thrawn, as we see in the EU. The war begins to corrupt him, as the Jedi were corrupted during the Clone Wars, and maybe you could have something like that. And you have kind of maybe a Man of Steel moment where he has to like kill Zod in order to save someone, and it kind of changes his outlook on the way he looks at things, leads him down more of a darker path. I think there's a way you. I mean, I'm not saying that's
There's
exactly
definitely stuff you
do
could do with it.
but I think there's something that you could do with that. I just think that they didn't do it well at all. They tried to make it this one moment where he sensed the dark side inside of Kylo growing, and then he went to the hut and like was literally premeditated murder, and then decided to like, and then he looked at him and like decided to choose not to, but he had already chosen to try and premeditate murder. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Luke Skywalker would never do that, and they never explained how. Like, so I'm not saying he would never do that, but what we saw in the sequel trilogy, he would like. With his characterization, there's no explanation why he would ever do that. It just doesn't make any sense, because everything we knew about him was redeeming his father, refusing to join the dark side, and working to redeem his father through self-sacrifice, not through like attempted murder. What were you going to say, Spencer?
Oh, I was just going to say, especially because we've seen so many Jedi before him take that sort of, they're all merciful. They believe in redemption over punishment. And Luke is the last student. I think you and I talked about this the other day. Like, Luke is the last student of that way of thinking from like Yoda and Obi-Wan and stuff. So, yeah, nothing has ever shown that he would take murdering somebody over trying to be like Qui-Gon and training the boy,
Yeah, and so like we've seen. So yeah, I do want to say like we have seen Jedi we saw in the Clone Wars, especially in the animated series. I know a lot of people don't. What? What about Mace Windu?
He wanted, I
believe. He wanted to kill the Emperor.
Yeah, he wanted to kill the Emperor, and then Anakin was like, "No, he must stand trial."
Right. Yeah, so he's not. So we have seen, like you said, even in Revenge of the Sith, we see where there is Mace Windu wanting to kill the Emperor, which is in direct contrast to how Luke actually defeats the Emperor. We even see Yoda trying to take on the Emperor in combat. Again, Luke does try to do that,
but they're not murdering. They're not going up to them in his sleep.
Windu kind of is. Windu's kind of defeated him, and then he's about to execute him.
He goes to arrest him first until he starts fighting back.
Right, but then he has him defeated, and then he's going. Yeah, but then he disarms him for the most part, and then he decides that he says he's going to execute him.
Right, but there's a difference between that and I'm going to go kill this man in the middle of him sleeping, and he has no idea what's going on.
Yes, there's a difference. Yes, premeditated murder versus self-defense turning into an execution. Yes, there's a difference. I totally agree. There is. I'm being serious. There's a difference. But in the Clone Wars, you also see a couple other Jedi actually get corrupted. Obviously, Dooku becomes Darth Tyrannus, and then who's the guy? There's like this. He's got like 4 hands.
Grievous?
No, that's the droid.
Yeah,
it's a Jedi in the Clone Wars animated. I can't remember his name right now. And then I think there's another one who kind of turns to the dark side as well. And you see them like kind of getting corrupted. Even what's her name? Ahsoka's friend bombs the Jedi Temple. No, not Ventress. It's Barriss Offee. Yeah, she bombs the Jedi Temple. So and she sees she claims it's because the Jedi have participating in the war have lost their way.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a possible way to do that. But the way that Disney did it was horrible. And you'd have to probably tell it over a TV series rather than in a single movie, because you just don't have the time to really show that characterization for Luke within a single film, or even a trilogy of films, without Luke being the main character, which we know he wasn't, because there was this female character with the concept art with Kira. that I think Altman did that as well. It's on his Instagram. I didn't include it in this story. But getting back to the story here, so if you look at if you actually look at Lucas's, so Hidalgo's trying to basically say that these were like Lucas's original plans. But if you look at Lucas's actual statements during an appearance on CBS this morning in like 2015, I think, so this is right after The Force Awakens, he says the issue is ultimately they looked at the stories and they said we want to make something for the fans. People don't realize it's actually soap opera and it's all about family problems. It's not about spaceships. So they decided they didn't want to use those stories. They decided they were going to do their own thing. So I decided, fine, I'll go my way, and I let them go their way. So he basically like saying that they didn't want to use his ideas. Like Lucas has confirmed that, and it's not just Lucas that's confirmed it. Bob Iger has confirmed it. He said in his like memoir that Lucas felt betrayed because they weren't going to use his outlines. Were you going to say something there, Drew?
Yeah, because it's pretty much as you go on with the article, John. It's just for anybody that is a really discerning and longtime Star Wars fan, this should piss you off because the story group and the people working at Disney, I mean, they're a joke, and we know this. We know that a lot of them are woke bots, and they will write over anything to justify Disney's direction of the sequel trilogy. So that's exactly what they're doing. This is all full-on spin damage control. It's going to continue to go on and on until they retcon the soul out of Star Wars, which they already have. They've retconned it to such a large degree that I mean, you have to be as a fan very blissfully ignorant and just hold on to the things that you like, because this stuff is just, in the way that they're treating it, is just it's beyond a joke at this point. and Pablo's one of the ringleaders. I mean, that you talk about a guy that is just not likable. This guy, I don't think this guy will ever get over with anyone as far as anybody claiming that they like him or his work.
I just wanted to highlight this comment here from Hugh Mungus. Personally, I would like to thank Lucasfilm. I have saved a lot of money over the last 5 years not buying Star Wars merch. I think a lot of people have been the same way. I haven't bought any Star Wars stuff.
You didn't get the Admiral Holo?
At least I haven't bought anything from sequel trilogy stuff.
Yeah.
I have my Vader down here. I don't know if you can see him.
I see him.
I have like
and
then I have my Vader Nutcracker.
Lee bought all those.
But yeah, I don't have any of the new Star Wars stuff, and I don't plan to ever buy any of that stuff. Zero plans to buy any of that stuff.
Do you have a Jar Jar Binks?
I do not have a Jar Jar Binks. I do not. No. I don't even know if I have a Luke Skywalker. I
Makes me feel bad.
I mainly just have Vader stuff. Yeah, I mainly just have Vader stuff. But yeah, so Iger also, getting back to this again, Iger's also said that they didn't use the Lucas's original outlines. He says George immediately got upset as they began to describe the plot, and it dawned on him that we weren't using one of the stories he submitted during the negotiations. Read that again. We weren't using one of the stories he submitted during the negotiations. George knew we weren't contractually bound to anything, but he thought that our buying the story treatments was a tacit promise that we'd follow them, and he was disappointed that his story was being discarded. I'd been so careful since our first conversation not to mislead him in any way, and I didn't think I had now, but I could have handled it better. George felt betrayed, and while this process would never have been easy for him, we'd gotten off to an unnecessarily rocky start. So again, so another person who also, okay, well, hold on, we'll get into this part a little bit later. But yeah, so it's just another thing that they didn't use, they didn't actually use his story. Like what Hidalgo is saying here is like they perverted like what Lucas had in mind. Is to me, that's all is what he's basically confirming.
Yeah.
And he actually admits it in this other panel. Like Hidalgo actually admits it in this other page of the book. So, which I thought was hilarious. He admits it himself. He says, while talking about Rey Finn and Kylo Ren, he also claims that like Rey Finn and Kylo Ren were like part of Lucas's original vision. So he wrote, "The Force Awakens' long journey from idea to finished film was filled with evolution, but one idea that remained constant from the start was that of a young woman's quest to become a Jedi Knight. In George Lucas's original outline, she was a 14-year-old girl named Taryn. In his subsequent iterations, she would briefly be named Thea, and believe it or not, Winky. When writer-director J.J. Abrams came aboard, he simplified the names to placeholders." Right there. When writer-director J.J. Abrams came aboard, he simplified the names to placeholders. So they were no longer these characters that Lucas had envisioned. They were just placeholders.
Right. Exactly.
Kylo Ren was Jedi Killer. Thea became Sally. Finn was called Harry. Get it? Harry and Sally. When Sally met Harry. And the character that would be Poe was John Doe. As the film neared production, Sally became Kira, which stuck as a production code name, then Echo, and finally Rey. So there's actually a mock-up that Altman has here. Let me find it real quick.
We remember that piece of concept art that we showed. Oh God, that was a while back on one of the streams. John, I forget what guest we had on, but we were talking about that piece of concept art where it showed that thing that Lucas was talking about with Kira. He had that character named Kira.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and that would have been a whole lot better had they followed it. And there was absolutely nobody that was going to have a problem with telling a story from a female point of view for having a female Jedi. That was never the problem. It was the fact that they made her like from the jump like the craziest OP Jedi in the galaxy.
So here's Altman. He's showing off his this. He says this is a Jedi killer concept from the early days of The Force Awakens. But so that's after Abrams took over. Remember, he's calling that Jedi killer. There's another one here. Here it is. This one right here. He says first concept for a villain for Star Wars: The Force Awakens from February 2013. No idea about anything of a story, but we figured there'd be a villain. So Altman is literally saying he had no idea about a story for this villain, but he like created him. Whereas Hidalgo is saying like literally the bones of Kylo Ren were already there, called Jedi Killer. Where he in this other concept art, Altman is saying that he calls him Jedi Killer. This character has no name, and he says that he doesn't even know anything about a story for him. Which I'm assuming this is probably February 2013. So this is like almost like 3 months after Lucas has sold, because he sold the company around October 2012. At the end of October 2012, I think the reports were the 31st. So who knows when the ink was dry. So yeah, even that, like his facts don't match up to what other people are saying.
Right. That was a sick looking concept.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It would be really cool for a bounty hunter outside of a Sith.
Yeah.
So right here, so like, however, by Hidalgo's own admission, it appears Abrams completely changed the character. On top of that, Abrams also confirmed Disney threw out Lucas's original outlines and revealed the mandate was to start from scratch. He told Slashroom in 2015. This is J.J. Abrams saying this. I came on board and Disney had already decided they didn't want to go that direction. So the mandate was to start from scratch and tell a story that was the continuum. And Kathleen Kennedy brought on Larry Kasdan and Michael Arndt, and it was those people I began working with. Literally from J.J. Abrams as well. I mean, how many more people do you need to know to tell you that this wasn't the sequel trilogy was not based off of Lucas's vision? So if that wasn't enough, Lucas went and told us what his 3 movies are going to be while talking with James Cameron. It was published in this James Cameron Story of Science Fiction book. He's like talking to him. He told Cameron the next 3 Star Wars films were going to get into a microbiotic world, but there's this world of creatures that operate differently than we do. I call them the Wills, and the Wills are the ones who actually control the universe. They feed off the Force. Back in the day, I used to say ultimately that what this means is we were just cars, vehicles for the Wills to travel around in. We're vessels for them, and the conduit is the midichlorians. The midichlorians are the ones that communicate with the Wills. The Wills, in a general sense, they are the Force. So we would have probably got a really deep dive into the origins of the Force.
I don't know.
This,
That kind of sounds
trilogy.
pretty terrible to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So you have to understand, why does it sound so terrible? It's not like
Because I don't want to come to Star Wars for a microbiologist trilogy. Like, I want the war, I want the fighting, I want the adventure. I didn't even like the midichlorians in the first place. I thought it was a terrible change to the lore, but that's where we are now.
I don't think a lot of people liked them, but
yeah.
So I mean, I've actually come to accept the midichlorians because I think they were obviously always originally part of his idea. I mean, he talks about it literally right after the first film. He just doesn't introduce them until the Phantom Menace, so we weren't really exposed to them. But like in interviews, he talks about them and how they work, and I don't think they fundamentally change the way you can view the Force, especially with how they explain how the living Force feeds the cosmic Force, and the midichlorians are part of that kind of living Force.
To me, it's just way too complicated. It was unnecessary. I think, he may have intended to have that in there, but thank God somebody said we're not going to introduce them. Like, just because it was something he originally came up with doesn't mean it's golden, Like, I'm kind of glad that it was originally left on the draft floor.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it is part of his vision. It's
I
like
know,
saying
that doesn't mean it's a good.
Tolkien.
It doesn't mean it's a good part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like saying Tolkien's Silmarillion is very thick and heavy, and you disagree with how that universe was created.
No, that's a completely different. That's a completely different thing. Yes, Tolkien wrote the Silmarillion and he had all of his lore written out and finished. But right now, George is saying, I wanted to have it, but we didn't. So then he goes in and he adds it
Silmarillion was put together from his notes, man.
I know.
Well, it's two sides of an argument. So you either get something that doesn't connect with anything that George did before, which might be good, might be bad, or you get something that does connect with what George wanted, which is, again, might be good, might be bad. It's depending on perspective. You get one that really connects and flows, and if it's bad, at least it has that connectivity. Kind of just like the stuff with Snyder and the Snyder Cut. Snyder's vision is going to be followed through with the Snyder Cut. But then, there's people who are going to be totally against it because they didn't like Batman v Superman.
Right. Yeah. But I get what you're saying there, Don.
Yeah.
I do want to address Spencer's thing. I think you might be he's talking about that they would get into it. He's not saying that the whole trilogy would be about that though.
I didn't like the midichlorians. I still don't like them. To me, that's just an unnecessary exploration. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm glad we didn't see it.
Yeah, the fan base is split on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that I was originally against the midichlorians too. I thought they were stupid, but then I did read how he explained them. And
I read how he explained them too. Like, it's and that's fine that you accept them. I just don't accept them, even with all of his explanations. I just still don't like them.
I would have been better off if they kind of would have done something akin to the way Qui-Gon explained the living Force.
It's all Baby Yoda.
It's all Baby Yoda. I would have been all right with that. And I'm still salty that Qui-Gon died way too early.
Yeah, for real. Way to waste Liam
Neeson. Because I'm a Qui-Gon fan. I always will be.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Qui-Gon's characters too. It's a shame that he didn't make it past the first movie. But again, that's also like, I don't know. I'm not against him dying either in that film too. So,
I mean, well, it kind of would have been, cool if Qui-Gon would have lived and then kind of in a way proved Dooku right, which would have been really interesting. But they had to have it go obviously the way it went because otherwise you wouldn't have had Anakin's fall. But yeah, I still think that would have been pretty awesome.
I see that we got Dread Pirate Mikey is saying simpler is better. I tend to agree, but I also think that you can have complex magic systems. I mean, some of my favorite, probably my favorite epic fantasy novel series is called The Book of the Malazan of the Fallen, the Book of the Malazan, or The Book of the Fallen of the Malazan Empire. It has quite complex magic system, and it works really well if it's explained really well. So I think you can have complex stuff too. I mean, Brandon Sanderson has a pretty interesting magic system when it comes to his Mistborn series. So I think you can still have pretty good complex magic systems, especially nowadays when there's so much complex stuff in RPGs now, and with the skill trees and all that kind of stuff, and how all that works in video games. So
I still think, in a sense, though, you're right, John, because I don't think that even with all this stuff with the wills and whatnot, I don't think that they would have took it super far where it was like teaching a whole like lecture lesson.
Yeah, so
it would be a book.
It would have been similar to the episode called Destiny in season 6 of the Clone Wars, where you get the more information about the Force and then how there's a dark side in all living beings, and the Jedi have actually mastered. That's what the Jedi practice. They practice mastering your dark side, not letting it consume you or take you over. And it's really clearly shown with Yoda. So you get like this fun combat with Yoda against his dark side, but you're also going on this journey learning more about the Force and about these kind of will characters. The assumption is that those characters in that episode are the wills, and they're individuals who have become one with the Force and they have died and become one with the Force. So I think you could do like that's what I'm saying. It would be something like that. I don't think it would be fully getting away with like your starship battles and your lightsaber battles and stuff like that. I mean, obviously he kept that stuff in the prequels, and he also like kind of added in onto the midi-chlorian stuff. He like introduced that to the actual lore. So I think he would do that too. And then they also introduced the wills a little bit in Rogue One, but they didn't really fully delve into them as much as what some people might have wanted. So I think I just think he's saying that he would have delved more into like the foundation of the Force. And I think that would have been interesting with the backdrop of Star Wars. All right, so that is that story. Pablo Hidalgo trying to cover up or trying to make it seem like the sequel trilogy was all George Lucas's vision, despite Lucas, Abrams, and former CEO Bob Iger basically saying, "No, you're wrong." I just thought that was it's really funny the steps that these people are really going to try and make you accept their version of Star Wars. It's also really sad. Okay, what do we want to get into next?
Let Don choose. It's his first time back.
I wasn't given a breakdown of what we're getting into.
You weren't listening then in the beginning of the show, Don.
Oh,
Jeez. So we got Star Trek stuff. We got Grace Randolph. We got more Star Wars stuff with we could do Cleopatra with Gal Gadot. I did see there's actually so I did see there was someone in here who asked us a question. What our thought was. I'm trying to
on the Spider-Man 3 cast.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like
that-
Spider-Man 3 or something. Yeah, what was the actual question? There it is. MJ is asking us, yo guys, what's your thoughts on that crazy Spider-Man 3 cast? I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it. I feel like Spider-Man 3 has been trending for like 2 weeks and it's the same story being repeated over and over again. There's like nothing new happening.
Well, they just signed Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to come in.
Oh, that was literally what the story was a week ago, though. That they were joining. Like
No,
literally, Jamie Foxx.
A week
Like,
ago, it was Jamie Foxx, yeah, but nobody had confirmed that it was going to be.
except for Jamie Foxx, who literally posted the Instagram post
he didn't
showing them.
I know, but John, he didn't confirm. Nobody confirmed it. He's just saying, like, everybody assumed, and then
It's the same
this
story.
week, it's yes, but now there's confirmation.
It's still the same story. Did Holland confirm it? Who confirmed it, or is it just the trades reporting it?
I'm pretty
That's
sure
fine.
Maguire and Andrew reported it or confirmed it. I don't know. Somebody did. Garfield, yeah. What did I say? Andrews? Yeah, no.
Andrews?
Yeah, that's what I said first, but I meant Garfield.
It looks like it's still just a rumor. Yeah, it's still a rumor. Deseret News, it says rumor. Reports suggest Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are now confirmed. Hype beast.
Hype beast, yes.
I'm not seeing Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield signed on exclusive from Fandom Wire. So that seems to be where that is coming from.
Is that Signor?
Yeah, that's his website, Andy.
50-50.
And he wrote the articles too. He put his name on it. Usually he puts like on a lot of these exclusive, it's like Fandom Wire staff, which it's probably him writing that. I don't know, but it seems weird. So here, we'll just pull this up. No, this is what I'm saying. It's the same story. It's just a rumor. He's just saying that it's confirmed now. But it's not. Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield signed on exclusive 2 days ago. Fandom Wire previously reported that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were in talks for Spider-Man 3. See, starring Tom Holland. Now a Sony source closely involved with Spider-Man 3 has confirmed that both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have signed on to reprise their respective Spider-Man roles next to Tom Holland's Peter Parker. With the unlikely word of Jamie Foxx's Electro leaking, studio is... Was that a leak? He posted it. It's a leak.
That was a leak. It didn't seem like it.
And I leaked it.
The studio is reportedly furious that many have been able to speculate and prod insider contacts over this big surprise. Without getting too many plot secrets, the recently announced edition of Doctor Strange is the conduit to bringing these three Spider-Men together for the first time. The film will, in fact, create the first live-action Spider-Verse. Both Maguire and Garfield will appear in Tom Holland's universe during the final act to help defeat all of the Spider-Man's combined foes.
So you guys remember the interview that they did with Tom Holland?
Yeah, I remember that with Ned, the guy who plays Ned, and Zendaya was there too, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and then the interviewer asked about, now what would it be like if you met these guys in a movie?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just like, okay, I know what they're going to set up now. This is just a setup for mini multiverse, mini Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
We saw what the animated Spider-Verse did.
Yeah.
And then they teased the multiverse in Far From Home. So why not? Why not just make $2 billion?
I think it also comes after the contract negotiations Sony had with Marvel. And I think all indications indicate that Sony pretty much won out, and all the Sony movies are going to be much more closely tied to the MCU moving forward. That's what it seemed like to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I just don't care about Spider-Man. I'm not like... I just don't care.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan, but I think that this stuff with the multiverse and whatnot, it gets a little bit redundant after a while. They go far too overboard with it, because I think about when I was a kid, back in the early 80s growing up, reading, Amazing Spider-Man. I just like having settle on one damn Peter Parker. I like my normal Spider-Man.
So I'm a giant Spider-Man fanboy. He's my favorite superhero of all time, and I love all the different Spider-Mans. Like I love Ben Reilly. I love what's her name? Like Mayday, Aranya. I love all of them. But having said that, I think at this point they're just trying to what's the term here? They're oversaturating it. They saw that Spider-Verse did really well, and everybody kind of got behind the concept of a multiverse, and now they're trying to, like John said, just make $2 billion.
Member berries. Remember Toby?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real. That's all it is. I don't think this is a good move.
You joke about member berries, but I also think like it's going to be like, oh my gosh, Tom Holland is like the Tom Holland Spider-Man is so inferior to the Tobey Maguire version,
And so they'll bring in the Tobey Maguire version.
Yeah, that's what you. I mean, I think that's just. I'm just like, for especially with in the movies, I'm just like, dude, like, I want to see him like actually being an adult. Like we were kind of getting him there. He was doing his own thing. He was making his own mistakes, learning from them. Whereas like the Tom Holland one is just like there's always someone there watching him.
There's always a mentor.
Yeah, I
Being
mean,
able to like watch out for him. Even in Far From Home, it's Happy arrives on his jet and lets him build his new spider suit so he can go save the day against Mysterio. Yes, so I don't know. I'd like to see him just be his own kind of character, and we haven't really seen that.
I'm pretty sure I said this on Twitter. I'm pretty sure the fact that Peter Parker has been shown, like in the comics, he grew up. He went through adult problems. He got a divorce. He fixed the divorce. He went through losing a child, and through all of it, he was still becoming a better, different, more mature hero. And I think for some reason that just triggers everybody at Marvel nowadays. Given what they're putting out, they don't want to be reminded that they're not grown up. You know, they want to keep using the excuse of like, oh, I'm so young and childish that I can make mistakes. And Peter growing up and having to face the real world, I feel tears at them.
well, yeah, because it ruins a good portion of their loony politically correct narrative. Because when you have to actually be responsible and think for yourself, it ruins that, you know. So I don't know.
To me, it also seems like there's going to be way too much happening. You got Doctor Strange.
Yeah, for real. Right?
You've got Electro, and then here they're saying he's fighting a ton of Spider-Man villains. I saw there was one rumor that like Hardy's Venom could show up. Jimmy Kimmel is joking about Kraven the Hunter, that he's going to be Kraven the Hunter, indicating that there's like way more Spider-Man villains coming, or we might get like more information about
Keanu. That's what I heard.
Oh, Keanu's like everywhere, dude. Like everyone's talking about
Ghost
like,
Rider, Kraven.
Yeah, Moon Knight. Like,
MODOK.
I'm just like, oh man, like he's talked it with well, I mean, it makes sense that you would see all those rumors for the Marvel stuff because Feige literally says he talks to Keanu about like pretty much every role. Mm-hmm. So that actually makes sense when I see him like up for all these like Marvel roles, and then the Constantine rumor makes sense too because there's literally the directors like says that they've had talks or whatever about maybe doing another Constantine. So that I buy those. So that's why like those rumors do have some validity to them. But it does like get a little like, oh, he's Keanu's this, Keanu's that, Keanu's this. What is he really going to be?
Another oversaturation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you can oversaturate Keanu, man.
Yeah, for real.
Give me more John Wick all day. I don't know. We'll see how it works with the Matrix. We'll see with that. But with the oversaturation with Spider-Man, though, I don't know if that's there. People seem to really like Spider-Man. A lot of people like Spider-Man. I feel like I'm in the minority on people who aren't really interested in Spider-Man.
A billion people like it, at least.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, he's like the number one selling superhero. I think he outsells Batman. His merchandise is number one. So yeah. Mark 63366 is saying he would love another Constantine movie. Yeah, because
I would too.
Yeah, I that's actually something that it wasn't like super. It didn't stay super to the Hellblazer comics, but I just thought it was just an interesting adaptation. It wasn't like
It was just a
It
fun
wasn't
movie.
like anathema to it, but it was its own story kind of thing. It wasn't. I don't know. That's probably the one thing I'll say. Like, I'm not like against it being too divergent from the comics. That might be the only thing I might say about that. But I don't know. Spider-Man, it's okay. Yeah, Steven Ernst says they should make a Spider-Man movie every year until they get it right.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean,
At
it seems
this point,
like
they're going to. Yeah.
that's what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing. But what I was saying earlier is like it seems like there's way too much happening. You got Doctor Strange, Electro, possibly Kraven, maybe Sinister Six showing up. We know Vulture is showing up or it seems like Vulture is showing up in Morbius, and maybe Morbius shows up in the Spider-Man movie.
Goodness.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know, there's a lot of things that they could do there. But yeah, Don, you're totally right. You should have said that on here. Spider-Man 2 is the perfect Spider-Man film.
Yep.
And if they're going to bring Doc Ock back, if they're bringing Toby back, did he die? I think he died, didn't he?
Wait, you want?
Oh, I think he did.
I think his character died. He like drowned himself, right?
Yeah. Doc Ock died. Yeah.
He drowned himself to prevent the city from blowing up with his.
Melina's still alive though, right?
Yeah, Melina's still.
Okay.
So they could bring him from another. They could bring another Doc Ock
Another
from like Andrew Garfield's version, but it's Melina still. Like I would totally be down for that, because he's like that movie was perfect. You're gonna, like that. I will say that movie makes me like, as much as I don't care about Spider-Man, I do really love that movie.
That version, yeah,
because that movie is so perfect. With Doc Ock is like the perfect villain in it. In the way that was just a great script. That was Raimi perfection. And the first Spider-Man movie was really good too. The third one, the emo Spider-Man, I don't know. Dancing, man.
It was pretty bad.
His dancing. But yeah, so that's kind of where I guess. Do we have anything else to say about Spider-Man?
Good luck.
No, they'll make their money.
Oh, for sure, it's Spider-Man. I agree with you on that.
I'm not saying good luck for their bank accounts, but good luck on making something quality.
Yeah, Mark is saying, Mark 63366 says, I love how they did Vulture in the new Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
in Homecoming, I thought Vulture's was pretty good. I think that's probably the only interesting part of that film was Vulture. I don't know. I don't find Tom Holland's Spider-Man interesting outside of his Civil War cameo.
Oh, the teen girls love him though.
I know they do.
Yeah.
They love, like he was trending today on Twitter because he went golfing and people were just like ogling him on the golf as he was golfing. So
it's okay when they do it.
Well, yeah, that's why Aquaman made so much money, right?
Yeah,
that's why The Witcher is such a good show.
I definitely agree about Spider-Man 2. I think we're all consensus across the board about that movie. That's a masterpiece of Spider-Man.
Quintessential comic book.
Yeah.
Yes. That's probably a top 5 comic book movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't, as much as I'm a Spider-Man fan, because I read it when I was a kid, I couldn't really get into even like Holland's Spider-Man, and I thought that he made a convincing-looking Peter Parker, but I'd even argue that Garfield's was way better than Holland's.
I did like Garfield's Spider-Man himself.
But
a lot of people didn't like the Parker though.
Garfield was a little weird.
Yeah, Garfield's Peter was a little quirky. His Spider-Man was a lot better.
Yeah.
Holland's Peter is okay. He has the look, but man, there's just something off.
Yeah, I think Holland's Peter has the look, but Tobey's has the writing and how he's supposed to actually act, especially in that first one where he's getting berated by like the food company that he works for. He's always running late.
Yeah,
you have J. Jonah Jameson like always giving him crap. He's kind of always being he's quite humble with J. Jonah, but then he'll also like stick up for himself a little bit sometimes. And he's always very polite, well-mannered. Whereas like I feel like Holland's, he's not well-mannered or polite. He's just kind of dorky.
Yeah.
More so.
Mark 63366. I don't think anybody's going to argue with you on that, dude. Marissa Tomei is.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. That's certified fresh, baby.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Dude.
I get. I'm not commenting on her looks, but just like I don't know.
Oh,
There's something about the Aunt May being.
Oh, I don't really like that Aunt May,
Yeah.
but Marissa Tomei herself is perfection.
Oh yeah, I loved her in those. She was in those Bruce Willis movies where he's like a hitman or whatever.
Oh,
I think
the Losers, something like that.
no, it was like it has a long title. I think she's in that. No, I'm thinking about Amanda Peet. Wrong person. It's Amanda Peet who's in those. She's in something else though. I forget. But yeah, so those are our thoughts on Spider-Man. What do we want to do next? Star Trek.
Well, we may as
Gal,
well. See,
Grace
yeah,
Randolph.
since we're on the subject of superheroes, I think we should kind of touch on what's going on with Gal Gadot because she's getting like serious.
Yeah, dude.
She's getting seriously battered on Twitter about the whole thing that she's going to take this role as Cleopatra, and I think that she would make an outstanding Cleopatra, and I mean, my goodness, I've seen the classic.
And an outstanding wife. Thank you very much.
So I mean, Gal has that look. She can pull it off just fine.
Yes, she can pull it off just fine.
And the only reason that
Have you seen the movie where she's with Amy Adams, and she's like her and Ham.
Yes.
Her and John Hamm are like these like CIA agents or whatever.
I know what movie you're talking about. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, she looks real good in that movie.
Well, here's the thing, though. You can't ever appease these people. And we've gone over that. We know that, and it's hilarious. These people that claim that they are, anti-phobic of any sort and not racist are completely like racist and phobic about everything because they come out and attack her for being Jewish, being Israeli. I mean,
for real.
Which is literally located on the Mediterranean Sea, like across the water from
Egypt.
Yeah,
and it's like right next to Egypt too.
Yeah, right. Get out of here. It's just I know right about now. She's probably, if you talk to her privately, I'm sure she's probably kind of regretting sucking up to the whole PC culture.
I think she talks about that in the Vanity Fair article that just dropped yesterday. She talks about the doing that Imagine video because I think that's what you're referencing. Sucking up to the PC culture is basically the Imagine video. Because I don't think she's really done anything else. I remember she told Ezra Miller shut up or whatever. She didn't say that. She said she didn't say what he wanted her to say. She basically just condemned what we all know should be condemned anyways. And did that. But yeah, so Gal, there was a announcement that Gal, and she made the announcement too. Trades broke it, and she confirmed it. But Gal is going to be working with Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins on a Cleopatra biopic. Or biopic. How do you say that?
Biopic.
Biopic. Yeah. It should be two words. It should be hyphenated then.
I think they're actually going to do a good job with it too.
Meritocracy is back.
Maybe, I don't know. Everything I'm seeing from Wonder Woman 84 sounds like crap.
Yeah,
it just seems like a really bad story. So, I don't know about that.
If they don't take it woke to appease the higher ups, it'll be all right.
if they stay historical accuracy and things of that nature. But I don't know. I think that I think it.
Oh yeah, I said Amy Adams, Isla Fisher.
Pretty good.
Sorry. Yeah, I said Amy Adams. Yeah, Isla Fisher is who I meant. Thank you. I think that's Mark Lasserth who changed his name to Force Choke Baby Yoda. He still has the Spider-Man. Still has the Spider-Man costume. But yeah, so let's kind of just get into this. This is a story Spencer wrote a couple of days ago, yesterday, I guess. But yeah, so on October 11th, Deadline broke the news. She would be in a period biographical drama scripted by Altered Carbon and Alita Battle Angel screenwriter Aleda Kalogridis. I think she only did the first season. I don't think she did. Did she do the second season?
I think she did all of it.
Oh, she did all of it? Okay, well, from what I understand, the second season was trash. So that's not really good. She was also supposed to be doing some like Old Republic movie with the Game of Thrones people, but who knows whatever happened to that. Yeah, so she's supposed to be Cleopatra. So for those who don't know, Cleopatra was the last ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom in Egypt until it became a Roman province following her death in 30 BC. I think actually she is actually married. She actually has kids with Julius Caesar. He's killed. And then, so Egypt is like its own thing. She's like wars with her own brother, who's like married to her or something. It's so complicated.
All those, those histories are so complicated unless you have them open in front of you.
Yeah, so like I guess in the Ptolemaic dynasty, they married their own like brothers and sisters got married. So she was married to her brother. They were ruling over it. She has kids with Julius Caesar. She wars with her. She has like a civil war with her brother. She ends up winning. She like is consolidating her power. Caesar is obviously killed. She then kind of sides with Mark Antony. So Egypt is like Egypt was a huge part of the Roman Empire at that point. It's basically was their breadbasket. It's where all their food came from. And yeah, she did kill it. She did kill her brother, Dread Pirate Monkey, after they were married, I think, though. But so then she joins with Mark Antony, who's part of the Roman Triumvirate, I think is what it was called, after Julius Caesar's death, which was like Mark Antony, Augustus, who was Caesar labeled as his heir, and there was another guy who I think allies himself with Augustus eventually, but like Mark Antony allies himself with Cleopatra. He ends up losing, and then he I think he kills himself, and then the legend is that she kills herself with an asp, rather than being paraded through Rome in the streets and humiliated as the Romans usually did with people that they conquered. Cavitan Yoche is like, Cleopatra is not supposed to exist because she's a strong female. Yes, right? Strong females didn't exist until the 21st century. That is so true, it's not like there aren't like
Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
it's not like there's hundreds of historical figures. Even in the English-speaking world, I mean, like, let's look at England.
Queens.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit like brief history of her. I'm sure they'll obviously flesh it out a little bit more. But yeah, Spencer writes here, despite her kingdom being located in Egypt, Cleopatra herself is believed to have been Macedonian Greek, even having been established to the Ptolemaic throne due to her descendants from the founder of the Ptolemaic dynasty, Ptolemy I Soter, and speaking Koine Greek as her native language. So if you're not familiar, do you explain it down here? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
No. So the Ptolemaic.
Oh yeah.
So I was just going to go through a little history of the Ptolemaic dynasty. So the Ptolemaic dynasty was created after Alexander the Great died. Ptolemy the First Soter was like one of his bodyguards who inherits. So after Alexander the Great died, his empire was basically cut up among his bodyguards and his soldiers, and yeah, I think he was a bodyguard too, soldier, general. Yeah, he was one of Alexander the Great's like right hand man, basically. And then he inherits Egypt, and then the Ptolemaic dynasty starts from there, and they basically rule Egypt until the Romans take over. So, and I think they become a vassal state of the Romans because I think Rome. I don't remember when exactly Rome conquered Egypt. Yeah, inner circle. Completely right, Jed Pirate Mikey. So there you have that. So they were Greeks, Macedonians, who conquered Greece. And if you don't know where Macedonia is, it's just to the north of, Greece. At least in ancient times, what countries are that now? I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah.
It might actually be part of current date Greece now. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so there you have it. And so like there's actually this. I think this might be the oldest. Like this is one of the oldest paintings of Cleopatra. We pulled this from Wikimedia. This painting is currently in like the archaeological. Where is it here? National Archaeological Museum in Naples, Italy. I tried to find an image from their website, but it's in Italian and search. I couldn't pull up a search there. Yeah, we're doing Bounding into History right now, Stephen Ernest. Yeah, because it's important. We do that all the time. Haven't you been? Don't you watch like or read if you read any of the pinup stories? I'm always talking about the comic book history, our Hawkman videos, history of Hawkman. We're always going back into history. History is something we enjoy here. But yeah, so posthumous painted portrait of Cleopatra VII of Ptolemaic Egypt from Roman Herculaneum, which I think that's a city, Herculaneum, made during the 1st century AD, i.e. before the destruction of Herculaneum by that's a city, by the volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius.
Now, looking at that picture, I can already tell you Gal Gadot is too dark for that role.
She also doesn't have red hair.
It's like another redhead replacement.
Yeah, redhead is getting replaced here. So yeah, they kind of depict her with her as red hair there. And so this was interesting. This is also on Wikimedia, but they actually cite a couple of scholars, Susan Walker and Peter Higgs. They said over the brow, a large shift of hair is painted rather like the notice found on portraits of women of the later 1st century BC, and perhaps originally on the marble portraits of Cleopatra from Berlin and the Vatican. The large eye, a late Ptolemaic feature, long nose, and full lips are also comparable to the features of Cleopatra as seen on her marble portraits and some of her coins. The effect is somewhat more idealized than, for instance, the Antioch coin portraits, but there are similarities. So that's
ideal?
Then
yeah, more idealized than. Yeah, it's like they're making a comparison than the Antioch coin portraits. So they're basically they're not confirming that this is Cleopatra, but it's heavily implied. The belief is that this is Cleopatra. Yeah. And it was in the painting was in Roman Herculaneum, and that's one of the earliest depictions of her. Later 1st century BC. I think she passed in like 30 BC, and this was done between 30 and 100 BC, I think. And so yeah, I thought this was an appropriate Instagram. I snuck this one in here.
Oh, there's Bree.
She's getting attacked, right, by the SJWs.
that Bree spawned.
Yeah. So now we'll get into the people who are actually attacking her, and of course, blue check marks always weighing in. Which Hollywood dumbass thought it would be a good idea to cast an Israeli actress as Cleopatra, a very bland-looking one? Okay, yeah. No, she's not very bland.
Seething.
Instead of a stunning Arab actress like Nadine Najim. I mean, she could play Cleopatra, too. She looks the part. She just needs to get some red hair. And shame on you, Gal Gadot. Your country steals Arab land, and you're stealing their movie roles.
Wow.
Wrong. She was not Arab. She's a Ptolemaic Greek, not Arab. Author Morgan Jenkins, of course, another blue check mark. I'm sure Gal Gadot is going to do a wonderful job as Cleopatra. However, for me personally, I would love a Cleopatra who's darker than a brown paper bag because that seems a bit more historically accurate. Absolutely wrong.
Just as we saw.
You can literally I'm telling you, man. I'm sure you can say this too, Spencer. It's really not that hard to Google what Cleopatra looked like before you make dumb, stupid tweets.
This is an author.
But that's the thing. We've seen this time and time again with like our hobbies and stuff. These people don't engage with anything under the surface level. So they hear Egypt, Cleopatra, Africa, okay, black person. And it's like you completely missed everything there.
Well, It's totally surface level. They don't do any research. They don't know any history.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't even care to want to learn any history. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just so easy to just look it up and realize that whatever your opinion you had was wrong.
Elizabeth Taylor played her originally, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
She's whiter than a can
She's
of
white
soda.
as snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Elizabeth Taylor was obviously whitewashing Cleopatra, dude. And that's like what the argument would be.
They also erased her red hair back then. This has been going on for decades.
Yeah. Well, I think she does wear like so. There's some depictions.
She has the wig. She has the wig.
She has like the wig, and they talk about how she kind of brought that style back and popularized it. They talk about how she was like a style icon in Egypt.
I believe it.
So user Sarah Ahmed 989 said this is a new low for Hollywood. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Not one person thought of making an effort for looking for an Egyptian actress. You obviously didn't make a thought of actually looking up what Cleopatra would look like. After all the effing up representing ancient Egyptians around the history, this is what you came up with. Literally, you have no idea what ancient Egyptians looked like because you're completely clueless. Like, seriously. Like,
Plus, she's not even Egyptian.
No, she was not. The level of disrespect is unbelievable. You are Israeli portraying an Arab. Like, dude, these people literally are so
racist.
Yeah, we're getting there. Cleopatra was from Egypt. Stop whitewashing history and giving this role to a deserving woman of color. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes, she was from Egypt. She was. That's true. But she was she was like the ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Other users would be more direct and vitriolic. Okay, his person says they want to whitewash everything so bad in Israel. Trash to make it worse. F off. Okay, here we go. You're a Zionist monster. There we go.
There we go.
Like, look, she's even using a painting of like she's white.
It's super white.
Yeah. If you look at so I was like before I found so I put in the Spencer wrote this, but I did add in the painting when I was editing. And I was looking for I was trying to find like a lot of older ones because a lot of them were done during the Renaissance in the 17th century and later, and they all show her as a white woman, like what she was.
Their argument is probably like this was painted by the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, Renaissance painting. It was commissioned by the Pope, probably. Like a lot of those paintings were. At least, I guess before the Renaissance, it was more that stuff was commissioned by the Pope. I think after the Renaissance, you started seeing more like wealthy merchants, like the oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. The Italian merchant family that ruled in Florence, the Medicis, stuff like that. This person got really hateful. I seriously hope you suffer in this life and the next. Like, just wishing pain on her. That's just horrible.
Well,
and then I found this one because I thought Spencer's some of them were a little tame, and I wanted to really point out that some of these people are absolutely going crazy. If you're a Zionist, deadass, get the F away from me. I'm the most Jewish person I know. And I've never been roped into the Israel is our homeland, you woo, bullshit ass narrative. Anyway, I have to get back to work, but F Zionist, F Gal Gadot, and put some respect on Cleopatra, another person who doesn't know anything about Cleopatra.
Anything about the history.
But yeah, so this is literally, I mean, these people have just absolutely lost it, they do. And I'll honestly say, like, even though she's Israeli, it's because she's pale skinned. It's really what it comes down to. And it's
pale.
It's because she's like lighter toned. Is that a better?
Drew is more pale than her.
yeah.
Is that a more apt description though? Like lighter toned.
That is apt.
And I think I want to. I think it's just like I'm going to transition real quick here to this other one because I do think this is like important. You have people like Grace Randolph, who is like an influential scooper and YouTuber, reacting to this casting news today of Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence in this Netflix film from director Adam McKay, who I think was like Fantastic Four or something.
Adam McKay was Ant-Man.
Oh, he was Ant-Man, but he wanted to do Silver Surfer, I think. He talked to Feige about Silver Surfer. Maybe that's right.
He wanted to do something, yeah.
Yeah, I think he wanted to do Silver Surfer. So you have Grace Randolph here reacting to this and like total racist comments. And I'll call it that because that's what it is. I couldn't believe it. Maybe it's because I hadn't seen her say stuff like this before, but apparently she does. At least she made the implication that she says it all the time. But she reacted to the casting saying, this is a decisive moment for Netflix, getting Leonardo DiCaprio to co-star in one of their films with Jennifer Lawrence. They've officially arrived regarding producing movies. So she's like praising them, like, oh, you got Leo and Jennifer Lawrence. It's so great. And then she's like, I don't know about having two white leads, but we'll see how the film looks. Incredible cast. So that's not too bad, but she followed it up with this. Let's get down here. Look, if you don't see the issue of two white blonde actors playing the two leads in a movie where they play two modern scientists, meaning you really could cast anybody, then what the hell have we been doing the past few months? She's literally just attacking them because of their skin color. It's absolutely appalling, and that's kind of where we're at now. These people just attack people for their skin color. I think that's why Gal is getting attacked, because they have this false image, like, and they try and they're attacking her because of her skin color, but they're trying to have this facade that because like that's not what Cleopatra that's not what Cleopatra looked like. She looked like this. Well, no, you're wrong. And even then, even if they were pointing that out, I guarantee you those people would still attack her. That one guy was still like attacking her because she was they were calling her Zionist and stuff just because she's where she's from and who she is. But now you have her attack, like Randolph attacking Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence purely based on their skin color. I mean, there's plenty of things you can like criticize DiCaprio and Lawrence for if you want to. But I don't know. This just sickens me. It sickens me. It's so the Hollywood mentality has infected even these people.
I never thought of Grace Randolph as a woke person or someone that would like speak to that extent.
Yeah, that's why I think it was surprising because I mean I don't listen to her a lot. I don't like watch her YouTubes unless like she has like a scoop or something. And when she talks about it, she's just talking scoops. She's not like really giving opinionated about this. But I did see. I think she gave like there's a little bit. I guess I've seen a little hints of it. Like I think with some of the castings where the characters are race changed or gender swapped, she's always kind of like, oh, I think that's a great idea or whatever. But she doesn't go out like actually attacking people because of their skin color.
Right.
So she
just has her opinion.
She does have an unnatural hatred for the girl that played in Dark Phoenix.
Say that again. You broke up a little bit.
Oh, she does have this unnatural hatred for the lady that played in Dark Phoenix opposite Sophie Turner.
Jessica Chastain?
Chastain. The whole video of Grace documenting Randolph's just off comments about Jessica Chastain.
Yeah,
whatever she's
Jessica
casting.
Chastain like shut her down or something for like an interview or something. I mean, Grace is like she's the opposite of what we are. We don't deal with access media. She fundamentally does deal with access media. She has inside sources at all these studios, making chum with them. She obviously is friendly with Zack Snyder. Was able to get an interview with him about his Justice League. So she has to. I mean, that's not an excuse. But it's just showing that she has all these Hollywood connections, and we see what Hollywood is all about. But yeah, so she goes on here. She was like, Evans defends it, saying if an actor of color can't even get to play a scientist in a movie where the other scientist has been cast as a white actress, when so many people in the scientific community are of color, come on, like, what? That does it like just because like so she's saying that because there's people of color who are scientists in real life that they should automatically get to play a scientist, though there's white scientists in real life too. Like I don't understand. I don't even understand the argument. I just don't get it. Like it doesn't even really make sense to me. But like this guy was saying, what's wrong with having 2 white leads? Like what is wrong? I saw some people were pointing out like you don't criticize Wonder Woman for that. Chris Pine and Gal Gadot. Obviously she's Israeli, and she's not like I mean not technically, like if you want to say that she's not white,
technical,
yeah. I mean, she looks white to me with her skin color. But you have that.
She's browner than you, John.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm super pale, especially when I have this light on me. Especially when I don't get out in the sun. When I get out in the sun, my Italian side does kick in a little bit. I do tan over, but I don't get out in the sun a lot. I'm behind a computer screen. But yeah, so then here we have this guy saying, Grace, I love you in your videos, but you're doing the most like meh. I'm Hispanic American and I'm really just down to watch a good movie. It's interesting that like both these guys say that they're Latino or Hispanic and they're calling it out. And then she says, if you don't hold the line, Hollywood will think you don't care, and all the progress of the last few months will be lost.
What?
I mean, either you care or you don't. So she's literally confirming that she's like an activist for Hollywood to have like quota-based jobs for acting. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me too.
So,
which is dumb because everything we're seeing is this pushing of diversity into everything that we are going to be looking at for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, I think that's what she's saying, that this movie is a move against that because it's got 2 white leads. John, you can't have 2 white leads. It's you can't have that now. That's what she's saying. You can't have 2 white leads anymore in a movie. Like that's even if it's like Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. The X-Men movies, Charles Xavier is with his like, those movies don't get hate for having white leads. Like it's so odd. Like I'm sure there's more that you could point out that she's not like hating on. She just decided to hate on this one. So then I just kind of detail what the film's about, and there's going to be like a bunch of. Apparently, the film is about 2 astronomers who embark on a media tour to warn the public about an impending asteroid that will destroy Earth. Deadline calls them astronomers. Hollywood Reporter calls them scientists. I guess astronomers are scientists, though, so I don't know.
Scientists.
The 2 scientists will be played by Lawrence and DiCaprio, according to the Hollywood Reporter. The Deadline didn't say who was playing the scientist. But yeah, so, I mean, this is happening, and then we have... Let's go into the other one that we have too here.
Number crunchers.
I don't know if I have this one pulled up. I'm going to have to pull this one up. Oh, no, here. I do have it pulled up. All right, here it is. So we have people attacking Gina Carano. This one was just kind of hilarious because it just exposes who these people are. This is literally the same thing as the Dungeons and Dragons guy having problems with Dungeons, claiming that Dungeons and Dragons is too racist. And then literally like a week later saying that he wants more racism in The Witcher.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
So
it's like, yeah, they just constantly are just like exposing them how like stupid they are. But yeah, so Twitch streamer who attacked Star Wars actor Gina Carano as a homophobe calls gay supporters of Donald Trump quote maggots. Apparently, like there were some folks on Twitter that were like, what is the band? Like
Slipknot.
Yeah, apparently Slipknot calls their followers like maggots, and it's like an in term, like it's like a good thing. But I don't think this guy knows anything about it.
Yeah.
Slipknot. But yeah, so we have this Twitch streamer Joe Organa. I'm pretty sure that's a fake name. Obviously Organa being Leia's surname. Who attacked Star Wars actor. I'm just kind of repeating the headline there. Thanks to Bleeding Fool, I was able to track down this guy's tweets because he's kind of behind I think after he did this tweet attacking gay Trump supporters, he privated his account, so you can't really like get in there. But I was able to find an archive link of his like previous tweets where he was going after Gina Carano. So here you can see kind of his like they only had this first one. I found a whole bunch more. There's like a whole thread of them. But he wrote this homophobe blocked me even though I have not tweeted to her or about her. She clearly blocked me solely because I'm a gay Star Wars fan. That is so effed up.
Oh, that guy.
Because she knew, because she cared. Like, get over yourself.
Actually,
I guarantee. I mean, probably everything. I mean, everything this guy is saying is a lie.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lie.
She clearly blocked me. How is it clear? It's probably because you are like hating on her. Because you go on in your responses and say like you try like look this. He literally tweeted this here. He says, "Are you guys cool?" He tweets like Star Wars, Mandalorian, Disney Plus. Are you guys cool with this? She's just blocked LGBTQ Star Wars fans who have said nothing to or about her unless y'all support homophobia. Completely false. Like we have a story that you wrote. Do we have it linked in here? I'm not sure if I put it up here already. No, it's not. It's probably further down. But like we have a whole story of these people attacking her, and she's So this is just he's just lying, which is what these people do all the time. And then he said, "I have largely stayed out of the drama concerning this person, but clearly she has some negative feeling. Obviously, you haven't. Like you literally just called her a homophobe in the same thread. So this is all part of the same thread." So he's literally lying in this. I've largely stayed out of it, but you literally like attacked her. And I think there's like I think the Bleeding Fool has in their article. There's a guy like who like went through his tweets and like found that he was talking about tweeting about her like a week before like everything blew up after she was like really lampooned. And then he said she's making fun of trans and queer people for having different pronouns. That's another absolute lie. She's making fun of the people who are attacking her for demanding that she puts a pronoun in her Twitter bio. That's what she was doing. And so then again, he's like he then describes her as a transphobic Trump supporting actor that Disney is paying to emotionlessly struggle her way through scenes. And then he again called her transphobic. So like he repeatedly attacked her multiple times. And so like we go, I went through and like, yeah, here it is. So you go, this article here has like all the people attacking her. But she like explained what was going on. Like Pedro Pascal talked to her about why people were putting pronouns in their bios. And then she said she wasn't going to do it. And then she put beep boop in her as you can like I don't know if it's in that one. You can see it here. It's up here. I think you can see it. Yeah, she put I guess it was boop bop beep. Is that what I wrote? I don't know. I might have wrote it wrong.
Robot noises.
Yeah, she put it in like R2D2 noises. Yeah, it's boop bop beep. I did it the opposite way. I don't know. That's what she wrote. She wrote this. Yeah, sorry. I said it right. She just did it. She messed up. She mixed up the see here boop bop beep. She did, but she says here beep bop boop. Okay, I'm not imagining things here.
You're not insane.
But yeah, so then she goes and says like they're mad. She explains why people are angry about her. She says they're mad because I won't put pronouns in my bio to show my support for trans lives. After months of harassing me in every way, I decided to put 3 very controversial words in my bio. Beep, bop, boop. And then she says, like, I'm not against trans lives. They need to find less abusive representation.
She's right though. She's like so good I mean, she's so good of a free thinker. I like Gina so much because she's just stuck to her guns and she has fun with the hate mob. She's just like, all right, you want to be, but I'm going to block you.
And Gina Carano.
Yeah, and she calls stuff as it is, and that's what you need to do with these people because they live in some idiotic simulation that they've made for themselves because nobody in their right mind would live in a real world that was like that. I mean, it's like an idiotic simulation that they're stuck in, and they want to purvey that idiotic simulation on anybody else. So they sit there and they bully and bash people like, oh, you must do this to conform to make us happy, and you must do
you must address us like this and you must do this. It's like, no, there ain't not any of us that are, so self-important that we need to demand that people, do whatever
what you want them to do, whether that's putting pronouns in their bios or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's nobody that self-important, I'm sorry. So, we know that it's stupidity. And, at least Gina is one of the people in Hollywood that understands the stupidity of it and the hypocrisy of it. And she doesn't, give these people a way to get away with it.
She also comes from that MMA background. She's not from Hollywood. She joined Hollywood through the MMA, and I think that has a lot to do with it. She knows what like real suffering is. She went through it probably all the time, training in the ring, and then just physically get fighting in the ring. And these people, like this guy, has no idea what suffering is.
Yeah. No, and see, and that's one reason, I mean, I still have my Twitch account. Of course, we have our Bounding Twitch account. But look, for those of you out there that are gamers, you guys are thinking about streaming, sure, Twitch is a nice option. It's established. But truth be told, when you go over there, Twitch is like the woke village beyond these days. I mean, if you look across the platform, I mean, they've adopted.
It's got the reindeer, right? Is it the reindeer? I can't remember.
Or the deer girl.
They've adopted all the woke policies. They've got, God forbid you go in the, hashtag political category. Good God, stay out of there. But no, it's just across the platform now. It's exploded. There's a bunch of woke bots on the platform, and and these streamers, they go on and pontificate of how great and virtuous they are, that they're standing up for these causes, and it's like, oh God, give me a break.
Are they on the thought streams?
Well, that's just that. Yeah, some of them are.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They get you
virtuous on
in.
the thought stream.
Yeah,
You know who I'm talking about, John. That Vader B chick is one of them. But I mean, they're on there too, because some of those girls are like nutso SJW chicks, as hot as they are. Oh, look at me. I'm trying to make some money and get over. But yeah.
So this guy, after like attacking Gina for calling her transphobic and homophobe, he then attacks MAGA gays. Says MAGA gays are some of the lowest scum on the planet. You want straight white men's approval so badly, you're willing to vote against your own best interests. You're willing to sell out trans people and people of color. There's no place for you maggots in the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Yeah, so screw that guy.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of, I just wanted to point it out, just kind of people attacking other people just for dumb, ignorant, stupid reasons. As we've kind of chronicled with Gal and then with Grace Randolph as well. All right. Do we want to? We're in the last hour here. So, do you want to go back to Star Wars and talk about the Force, or do you want to do Alex Kurtzman? Is there anything?
Yeah,
else
let's cover. Let's cover the.
Idea?
Let's cover
about.
Let's do a quick run over the stories we did today, John. You and I about Star Trek and Kurtzman, real quick.
Yeah, let's do some Kurtzman stuff. We'll start with the one that you wrote. Are you ready for 7 more years of Kurtzman Trek? He's got it mapped out.
No.
Stop, please.
Yeah.
So Kurtzman appeared on this Hollywood Reporter podcast. It was like top 5 TV or something. think is what it's called. I don't know. Where he talked about the future Star Trek. So before he got into the 7 more years of Kurtzman Trek out to 2027, he said that there's years and years left on Discovery.
Yeah. God.
I'm going to say, in all honesty, there are years and years left on Discovery. First of all, Star Trek in general has a long history of going something like 7 seasons minimum, and we just jumped into the future. That's an interesting 7. He's using
to
that.
assume.
Yeah.
In a way,
So he's basically saying, hey, because other shows have 7 years, we're going to try to squeeze out 7 years. And it's like,
Yeah,
come
pretty
on,
much.
man.
I think that's exactly what he's saying. That's exactly. In a way, it's not that it's a brand new show, but it's a whole new set of variables with a whole new set of ideas and stories. It sounds like a new show to me.
Yeah.
Just,
They're retconning their own show. Yeah, let's completely get rid of the first season and do this big MacGuffin of time travel.
and I don't think we limit ourselves to thinking, oh, we're capped at this place. I'll tell you that when the show starts to feel too stale for us, we'll be rallying to stop it. But for now, it doesn't feel like we are running into a shortage of stories. I hate when people say that there's like a shortage of short stories. That's like, there's never a shortage of stories. You can keep telling stories. I mean, there's a reason why people are still writing stories today. People are still writing there's plenty of Star Wars fan fiction out there. People are writing stories all the time. The idea that you would ever run into a shortage of stories is just completely untrue. If you're running into a shortage of stories, fire that writer and get someone else, because I can pretty much guarantee that they can find a new story. Find a new story.
What he's really saying is there's no shortage of woke stories.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's just trying to say that like Discovery isn't going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
Despite the rumors, I think, which
means
seems,
he's not going away anytime soon either.
Right. Yeah. It seems like a lot of those rumors might not have a lot of merit to them. But later on in the discussion, he would reveal he just had a planning session with Viacom CBS and that they have plans for Star Trek through 2027.
Oh boy.
Heather Caden and Aaron Bears, who work with me at Secret Hideout, we literally just got off a call before this with the network mapping us through 2027. Again, when I say that, it's not like it's set in stone. It's just, okay, here's a plan. Here's what we're looking. Here's how the different shows are going to drop. Consider that it takes a year from start of production to airing. So you have to plan way, way in advance to get these things done. And you have to stay on top of the zeitgeist and make sure what you're doing is relevant. So you have to plan so far in advance now in different kinds of ways to seem loose and improvisational, but there is nothing loose and improvisational about it. I'm sorry, you're literally a scripted television show. I don't think you should feel loose and improvisational at all. I don't want a scripted show feeling like an improv show like that. I don't even understand why he even said that.
Relevant.
No, he.
I think he said that because in this other, he talks about here. Let's see if it loads. I'm having trouble loading.
Is this
here.
more along the lines of the platform that he's been given?
No, I think so. He talks about how their process is when they're actually like in production. And he talked about, this was from SFX magazine, which I think it's like Games Radar and Total Film. I think they're all owned by the same publishing company.
Probably.
But Trek Movie, I guess, got their hands on like a part of it. And he talks about it here. Where is it? He said no, he's talking about coronavirus there still on Strange New Worlds. Right here. He says we're always running ahead of the freight train that is production and trying not to get flattened. But this time we actually have some advanced warning with a lot of prep time. So he's talking about how like they actually have scripts ready to go on Strange New Worlds when they normally don't. It sounds like they just. So to me, when he's talking about we're trying to make it feel loose and improvisational, it sounds like that's literally what they actually do on that show, is they make it up like on the fly, like right before they're actually filming or like while they're filming, and it's not actually like a scripted out. We're always running ahead of the freight train that is production and trying not to get flattened. which means that you're doing it like.
I think they write the scripts, but what they're saying is that for Strange New Worlds, they've got them so far in advance, rather than like, okay, we're gonna meet together on this week and write next week's episode. Because there's no way you could write all of that on the fly and keep it consistent in anything like that. There's got to be scripts.
I mean, I don't know.
They might be like a week ahead in the scripts before COVID, and like now they probably have the entire season planned out script wise.
I don't know.
Right. I wouldn't. I mean, Don might. We don't have script talks here, but I mean, Don might be able to speak to this a little bit more. But with how Hollywood TV does, I mean, obviously this is a cable show. It's on a streaming service, I mean, Discovery's been off for what, 2 years now? Right? 2017 was the first season. Was 2019 the second season? Yeah, I think it was 2019 was the second season. So
something like that.
It'll be almost it's a little over a year for that since they went off the air. So I don't know. It just seems weird that you would say that you're running ahead of the freight train that is production and trying not to get flattened when it comes to writing. So you're saying that like you usually have like your script written out a week in advance before you start filming?
Maybe not like a week in advance. They probably have like an outline, and then like, oh God, I wish Script Doctor was here. But like they flesh it out, they go through it, and then do some write-ups on the fly based off of what the director wants out of a scene.
Yeah, but they're not coming up with whole story elements. It's not one big improv group.
Right.
They're not yes-anding. They've got their script. They've got what they generally want to do.
Yeah,
there might be some moments where they say, hey, whatever your name is, I forget who plays Micah, try doing that try being more emotional about it, and maybe she'll take it with a turn, but they're never going to be like, you know what? Let's see what happens if you pretend you're a Borg and we go with a Borg plot line. Like, that's just not how it works.
I mean, Mark 63366 is saying they forgot their own storylines in Discovery.
Yeah, but I'm just saying nobody's going out there like it's not an improv show. You've got scripts. Just because it's badly written doesn't mean they're doing it on the fly.
Right. I'm not saying it is an improv show. I'm saying that maybe they put it together at the last minute because he's literally saying so you have to plan so far in advance now in different kind of ways to seem loose and improvisational, but there's nothing loose and improvisational about it. Why would you even say that? Like, I don't even understand why you would even say that. Like,
maybe it would have been better if it was improvisational.
To me, it's there's like a phrase for that. He's like telling you the truth on accident or whatever.
To break the fourth wall.
No, he's not. There's like it's a word for it. I forget what the word is. That I don't know. That's just how I'm kind of reading this. It's just like this is like unnecessary to tell us. Like,
Freudian
why would you
slip?
Yeah, that's it. That's the Freudian slip. That's what I think it was. Like, why would you even talk about like your show being loose and improvisational? I don't even understand why would you even bring that up unless that's kind of how it has been.
Yeah.
I
see your point.
I disagree, but I can see where you're coming from.
I mean, I understand that. Well, I understand what you're saying, Spencer, but I'm just saying, like, why would he say that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Right.
I don't think it's as improvisational as we're making it out to be.
But I think that is an indication that there has been a bit of a problem in trying to get scripts written to the degree that he wants them, or like the production to be caught up on speed with what the scripts are dictating.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that it's improv. I mean, I think I specifically said it's not improv. I'm just saying that maybe that they are kind of doing a lot of freehand in the production based off of the script.
Yeah, sounds about
to me. So yeah, what else did he say here? He's talking about that they're going to have innovated with a couple non-Star Trek shows for how they do coronavirus production. I think that to me sounds like Secret Hideout is maybe doing that, or he might be with Viacom CBS, maybe with the Arrowverse shows potentially. Where do they film Discovery? Where do they film all these Star Trek shows? Or is it in California?
Yeah,
You know?
Script Doctor?
I don't
Anyone?
know.
Oh, wait, Script Doctor's not here.
Script's not here.
I don't remember. But yeah, and then he also talked. Yeah, so that's an update on Strange New Worlds. But I think he also talks about. Is it in this one?
well, Picard.
Oh, yes.
Picard, I think, is a lot of its location in California. So I think a lot of these are done in California.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Star Trek stuff isn't done in California because I know that's what the Orville is. The Orville's in California. So I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so that's kind of what Kurtzman is saying. He's like 7 more years, and it seems like everything is kind of kosher with Viacom CBS. What was interesting, there's I don't think we did it in this story or in the story that I wrote today on Star Trek, about the film. So Kurtzman actually does talk about the films as well, and he says he wants the shows and the films to be in continuity with each other, but he also says he has nothing to do with the films right now, and he's not part of the films. But that doesn't, I mean, him wanting to bring the shows and the films into continuity means he does want to be part of the films.
To an extent, yeah, or to a degree, rather.
And he was part of like the first couple, I think, because he was with Abrams and Bad Robot, I think, right?
Yeah, I think you're.
So.
I want to say you are right.
Yeah. So there's that, and then I think he also. What else did he say? There was something else that he said. Let's just go to this other one here. Did you have anything else to add on this, Drew?
No, I mean, we pretty much covered it. It's just a crying shame that there's even 7 more years planned out of this garbage because, like, I don't think like true Star Trek fans and yeah, it's basically true Star Trek fans against the Johnny Come Lately new Trek fans and
what are you talking about? Star Trek must always be sold to the deep fans.
Yeah, deep fans. What the hell is he on? Deep fans. No, the
about 2 inches deep.
The true Star Trek fans do not like the stuff. They don't like Star Trek, and 7 more years of it is going to be like, I mean, good God, it's as bad as Chinese water torture.
Steven Ernst, I just saw this. He's referencing the fact that he wants to put the movies in continuity with the TV show.
Yeah,
the one show in continuity with itself.
Yeah,
so true.
I mean, Discovery's a shit show. It jumps around so much, nobody knows what the hell's going on with it.
That's right, Cavatina Che. It's in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, Pinewood Studios in Toronto is for the Star Trek stuff. Chris Neville is saying there is no 7-year plan. They make this crap up anytime. They can steal an idea from someone else. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, last time Kurtzman gave us a 5-year plan, and he basically laid out everything that they've got going on now. He hinted at an Enterprise show. Lo and behold, we have Strange New Worlds. He talked about Prodigy. He talked about all of that stuff. Let me bring it up. As much as I feel the pain of the Star Trek fans about this, I mean, I think it's safe to believe him at this point. I mean, if he's saying that there's a 7-year plan, I think there's a 7-year plan.
Doesn't mean it'll be any good.
Yeah, true.
Imagine if Kathleen Kennedy came up and said, "Hey, there's a 7-year plan for Star Wars."
Nobody'd believe her.
They didn't have a plan for the trilogy.
They didn't even have a plan for the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, it's so sad. Let's see if I can find it, so I can make this point a little bit better for you, Chris.
Where's Kurtzman getting all this money from?
He's obviously getting it from Viacom, CBS. That's what I would think. So yeah, here, this is from 2019. So this was just last year, June 2019. He was detailing a 5-year plan, which means it would go into 2024. So he's just adding 3 more years onto that, right? Yeah, 2027. So he was on this time. He was on Deadline's Crew Call pod. In 2019, he was on Deadline's Crew Call podcast. You can see we totally format our stories differently now. A lot less images. So he talked about Star Trek Lower Decks coming out. It is set on Starfleet's less important vessels and tells the story of its crew. We have that now, right? Lower Decks is here. Untitled Nickelodeon animated Star Trek show. That is Star Trek Prodigy. We'll see if it's on par with Love, Death, and Robots in terms of beauty and lighting and cinema. That'll be interesting to see. I don't think we haven't gotten a look at that yet. They only have that the image for it.
The like title card or something.
Yeah, the title card. That's what.
Yeah, and I heard like Janeway is supposed to be.
She is in it.
Yeah.
She's back. They brought back the original. What's her name? I can't remember. Drew, do you know what her name is? Spencer.
Kate
The actress's
Mulgrew.
name?
Mulgrew. There you go.
Kate Mulgrew. The Hageman brothers are doing it. That's confirmed. They're doing it. They just did the New York Comic Con panel and introduced Janeway. Picard. That came out earlier this year, right?
Yes.
January.
Yeah.
Was when that debuted. This is going on to talk about that, and then here, that's talking about Picard still. Discovery season 3 that's out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
He did. We don't really have any more about the Section 31 show, so who knows if that's still happening. The short treks I think are over with.
Yeah, I think that was like a one-time deal.
Well, actually, he said he said they were going to be doing some new ones. Well, this is 2019, so that might have been they're already done. I think.
Yeah.
He says there's 6 coming down the pipeline with 2 animated and 4 live action. I don't follow it, so I don't know if those are completed or not.
Yeah. I don't follow really hardly any of Star Trek, so other than the news of what's going on, I don't really follow it because I tried to watch. Just a bad experience I had with Picard was.
Gosh, I'm so baffled.
Yeah.
And then here the Enterprise show they were talking about this 2019 with Ethan Peck, Anson Mount, and Rebecca Romaine. Is that how you say her name? Romaine.
Oh yeah.
Romaine coming
don't
back.
You put that blasphemy in the chat, Mega Jetty.
And Strange New World is happening, dude. The Cisco thing is only I have no idea where that rumor is coming from, but I think that rumor is literally because they brought back all the other captains. I think that's where that rumor. They brought back Mulgrew, they brought back Picard, but they haven't brought back Kirk yet.
Oh God, if
they won't.
Yeah,
I think Shatner would say no.
If they ruin, oh God, if they ruin Cisco, oh good God,
no, they'll make him a deadbeat dad instead.
Oh Jesus,
freaking!
All right, Mr. Terrific.
But yeah, so Chris Noble, you can see that he's pretty much enacted that 5-year plan that he discussed in a year. So there's something to say to that. And when I don't even know when Prodigy, I don't remember when Prodigy is supposed to come out, but yeah,
it's obvious to me. Kurtzman does have pool, but it's just they really need to rein this guy in because
it's the bad kind of pull, though. It's it's the ex-girlfriend who's angry at you, but she's pulling.
Well,
nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cavitenio Che is even saying Janeway has been demoted from being an admiral on Nemesis to being a captain in Prodigy.
Yeah.
That's not unheard of, though. Wasn't Cisco
that.
Demoted in Line?
That was Picard that was demoted from admiral.
Demoted. So that's not like.
Yeah, but what is every Starfleet captain that becomes the admiral gets demoted? I mean, this is a thing that we were talking earlier with how Star Wars got so screwed up, and there's so many retcons. Well, the same thing has happened in Star Trek, and a lot of fans are really, really, really upset with the retcons that Discovery made, with some of the retcons in lore that Picard made. I mean, it's just, people are ticked off. Nobody likes this stuff that has been a long time, Star Trek fan, other than some of the show YouTubers, Kowalski. And I haven't seen a whole lot of people praising this stuff. And you certainly won't find it among our general community because we've watched it, we've reviewed it, and it's shit. There's no other way to say it. It's just shit. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's a lot of virtue signaling nonsense. It's just, yeah.
So I will say, I think I talked about this at the beginning of the show, but Discovery is seeing increased viewership on CBS as it's been airing right now. That first season, it only saw like a minimal drop in episode 2, and then episode 3 was actually an increase from the premiere, which that's literally kind of unheard of. In today's landscape. So here, I'll just bring up the numbers here so you can see.
Yeah, and they roped in people that don't know any better, that don't do their due diligence and research.
So it had a decrease in the ratings from the second episode, the 1849 demo, but like you can see, first episode 1.7 million viewers, second episode 1.8. They had an increase of over 100,000 viewers. That's contradictory to what we've seen with the Canadian viewership, where it literally went from, what was it, Spencer? Like, it was like basically one of the top shows in Canada to dropping out of the top 30 by the end of the first season. It cratered. It was below 1 million. It was only like 800,000. Chris is saying he blames the pandemic for any rise. I don't know if I agree with that. The CW continued to have decreased ratings with Batwoman and Supergirl with the pandemic. I also wanted to address the fact that he said it's old news. Yeah, that 5-year plan was old news. It was from last year. That was the point that I was making. He's literally enacted the 5-year plan in like less than 2 years. All those shows are pretty much greenlit and have either already had their run or are about to be or are in production. I mean, Mulgrew said she was already doing the voiceover work for Prodigy, and that's the only one that hasn't completed its production. Discovery season 3 is done. I would assume it's done, and it's about to air tomorrow, right? I think so. Episode 1 airs tomorrow for Discovery season 3 on CBS All Access. So that's just it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I can't really sugarcoat it. I mean, he said he has a 5-year plan. He enacted it in less than 2 years, and now he's saying he has stuff planned out for 7 years. So I don't.
Full steam ahead.
To me, it seems like Viacom CBS, even after the merger, seems to be behind him. And the issue really is with the movies, if we believe the trades with Emma Watson and stuff like that. So, I'm just, totally. You should watch our Spencer does really good Star Trek Lower Decks reviews. You should check those out. You might not like. I don't know if you just want to listen to people hating on Star Trek. And I'm not saying that that's what Doomcock and Gary do. I think they give their honest reviews, and I think they're
much more harsh than we
valid.
But they do hate it.
But yes, they do. But Spencer hates episodes, but then this last one he enjoyed it.
To an extent,
thought it actually got back
to an extent.
Got back, like it made him angry, as he tells you, but he explains why it makes you angry, because the quality is there. So yeah, we're definitely watch,
check it out.
Check out Spencer's Lower Decks reviews as well. So it was pretty good. All right, so let's get back to this here. So I also wrote a story on Kurtzman. This is also from that same Hollywood Reporter podcast. The TV's Top 5 podcast is what it's called. He was asked how he approaches his various Star Trek shows in regards to bringing in new fans as opposed to more established Star Trek fans. And he said, I would actually say that you always have to sell the property to the deep fans. That's the word that so I will say, like, the deep fans thing, that's the word that was like the guy asking the question used. He used like deep fans.
Such a weird term,
So
though.
he's just like
Yeah, it
giving
sounds
it
like
back to
deep
him.
fakes.
Yeah.
It's like it is weird. He's talking about like
So
hardcore
deep
techies. But I think they scrutinize everything in a way that fans of Trek have done since the beginning. And so you can never be doing anything that seeks to sort of say, well, we are only going to hit one group here and we're not going to care about another. But then he gets and says, that being said, I think the death of great franchises is when you try and please everybody. I think some things have to be really focused on specific groups or specific ideas, and you can assume not everybody will love it, and that's very par for the course with Star Trek. So that's okay. He's literally telling you this is. I think this is being so honest right here, because from everything I've seen with Star Trek, he's putting his vision, and what he wants to do, and he's not backing away from it, and it's kind of in all of the shows, from what I understand, listening to what Gary and Doomcock say about the show, what Spencer says about the show, what Script Doctor has said about the show, what Jorge has said about the show, what Drew has said about the show. So it seems to me that that's definitely the case there. They all have this kind of Kurtzman vision to what it is, to what Trek is supposed to be, which is kind of antithetical to a lot of how Gary, Doomcock, Jorge, and Spencer and Drew view Star Trek.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's
I mean, you can now you can say like even in the TNG era, which was eventually a departure from Roddenberry's vision, it's fine, but it still kept the core formula of what Star Trek is supposed to be. This new stuff is not anywhere near that. It's simply a paid advertisement for wokeness is essentially what it is. That's all they do, because they focus on the characters, like what's between their legs, what's going on, and they don't focus on
A story.
the what's going on in the greater galaxy, problems within the Federation or things of that nature. And I will never forgive them for what they did in Discovery with the way that they changed the Klingons. It's just so stupid. And even the changes they made within their cultural essence as well. And as far as what we knew of the Klingons, which you'll understand, John, really the changes they made to the Klingons as you watch Deep Space Nine more, because it's such a departure. And
Kurtzman said they made changes to the Romulans too. There's some have like different ears or whatever.
Yeah,
and that means they're from like the south, and then the other ones are from like the north, and they like don't get along or whatever.
It was absolutely garbage. But again, yeah, it's pretty goopy as to what the hell they've done with this stuff, because nobody likes it. It's clear that nobody likes it, and people have voiced their displeasure, and
sonar in space.
these people at CBS apparently don't care. They just, because they're content with Kurtzman putting out this crap.
Yeah, someone said eloquently that the new Trek was like watching someone tell you what is right and what is wrong, versus the old Trek, which is making you think about what is right and what is wrong in the episode.
Yeah, I think the Deep Space Nine episodes that have been really good that we've watched do that perfectly.
Yeah.
I know I've praised a lot of them. There was I think recently it's been a while since we've done a Star Trek Tuesday, but there was I don't know the episode title, but we saw Jax was on trial for Dax. Sorry, why did I say Jax is from Mortal Kombat.
John wanted to play him some Mortal Kombat.
I was reading something about Mortal Kombat like yesterday.
That's why.
But Dax was on trial for like murdering this guy, some general from this other planet in her previous like host, and you really got a good like back and forth with that, and then like Cisco. It was really like an interesting discussion on whether or not. You had what was it? You not only had like you had that right and wrong discussion, but you also had this discussion of the whether or not like the this new host is able to like is a new person, and the discussion of like what it means to be like a sentient being, almost through the idea of the symbionts, right? Symbionts, I think, is what they are. So yeah, that's just kind of a. And then you even had the disease one, the disease episode, and
or the accountability of somebody because of the sins of the past.
Yes. Yeah. Curity Bonus. I'm totally butchered your name. They don't care if Star Trek disappear. Stephen Ernest, they don't understand Trek. Mark 6336, and they don't care to understand Trek. Curity Bonus says we need to regain control over the franchise. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think you're probably better off just creating your own sci-fi space thing. Space series. Dark Matter, I think, is a good example. The Orville is another one. Don has Domino up there, which I guess is a space science fiction.
Yeah,
story.
it is very space. I
Okay.
managed to read the first 2 sentences of it.
Okay. That's more than you've done in Dune in like 2 weeks, though, right?
Space Crime Domino by Kai MFS.
But yeah, I wanted to also go back to what you were saying, Drew. It's all about identity politics. Well, he's telling you that. He's just not saying identity politics. He's like really focused on specific groups or specific ideas. He's just that's what it is. That's what they're talking about there. But then he goes on to say we are always seeking to please diehard fans. That doesn't seem to be the case from all the diehard Star Trek fans I know. But I think that one of the things Star Trek has not done effectively over time is bringing new people, particularly much younger people. And I don't see any reason why this is this amazing story that has existed for 55 years, that is so about everything that we are dealing with in our lives right now, cannot be shared and enjoyed by younger generations as much as it can be enjoyed by diehard fans. This was interesting here. He said he was asked about like which show he thought was like the most and least accessible to new Star Trek fans. He doesn't answer the question, but I thought how he answers the question is he doesn't actually like give you an answer. But I thought this was interesting what he said. He said, it's hard to say honestly because like we've had a very interesting journey with Lower Decks. Jonathan Frakes once told me a story that when they started Next Generation, people hated it. People hated diehard fans hated it. They were like, "This is not the Star Trek that I know. This is not Kirk and Spock." Dude, I think he said that. Like, he literally told this story like 4 times over like the coronavirus thing, man.
He keeps using that as his go-to.
Yeah. 2 years in, everyone started loving the show, and now, of course, it is remembered as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Star Trek show of all time, depending on which fan you ask. I think the other guy used that as an example too. The card showrunner, he used that same thing. Yeah, Stephen Ernest is saying Robert Michael Burnett had a great rant on 2 broadcasts several days ago. Yeah, I think one of them might have been on Midnight's Edge. I know Tom sent that to me. I just haven't had the time to look at it yet. He told me that he had him on their like morning show the other day. I just haven't got to look at that yet.
And Mark, they would kick him off the set if he was an advisor on the show because none of his stuff would be accepted by Kurtzman's track.
I mean, didn't he already kind of get like attacked by the wokeness?
Yes, yes, that crowd did attack him. And
yeah, he was doing some kind of like trivia show or something that like I'd never heard of.
I know some people on that thing too. So
what did he say?
Came at me.
I think he got like upset about the murder in Kansas City or something, right?
Yeah, he got heated, and then one of his co-hosts, I guess, or another creative told him he needed to calm down. And he went off on him, and then that creative person went to
The head
some
of
of the
trivia
people
show
that he
or
worked
whatever.
with and told him, we need to cancel this guy.
Dang.
So he says here, I think what it kind of told me was that there will always be an initial reaction to something new, like, oh, this is different. This isn't what I'm familiar with, and so I don't like it. So this is actually, he can say this now, but Star Trek Discovery has had 2 seasons. It's about to have its 3rd season. I haven't heard anyone change their mind on whether or not that show is like everyone still thinks the show is garbage. Like
Right.
no one is like, it's finally gotten better. Like, praise the Lord. Like, no, no one has said that yet. I will be extremely shocked if that's said for season 3 too. So we'll see if this, like, he can say that like for TNG. But I can say for what I've seen of Deep Space Nine, like, that show has some really good episodes in the first season. I mean, obviously there's a couple like really bad ones that the game one isn't that great, but a lot of them are really good from what I've seen. So he can say that, like, yeah, TNG. You can use TNG as an example, but especially in today's world, like, if you don't hit it out of the park right away, you usually are done. I guess, I mean, he seems to be the what's the word? I hate when I can't think of the word that it's like on the tip of your tongue and you can't it's like he's the abnormality or whatever.
Outlier.
The outlier, that's it. Yes, that's exactly the outlier. Maybe because he has the franchise significance of Star Trek behind him. And whatever his deal is with CBS, which apparently is super good.
He must have photos or something. It's just
our central premise is that you have to love Star Trek to be making these shows.
premise.
Premise. Tomato. I don't know. Isn't that? I don't know. I've always said premise.
It's not even premise.
Premise.
I've never heard premise.
Premise. Yeah, I don't know. I'm tired. We're almost
John Trent, our editor, everybody.
And I think that in the case of Lower Decks, there was a lot of, what's this? Star Trek's never been a broad comedy before. Oh, they're trying to just cater to the lowest common denominator. That couldn't be less true.
No, it was true.
I know. I was like, it was, except for that last episode.
Yeah, for real. Get out of here. That's a lie.
And he literally tries to say, like, what honestly, when I was reading this, I was like, dang, did he actually watch, like, Spencer's review? Because, like, I think he might have. If you look at Lower Decks, and it's gratifying to see how people are writing about it now as we get to the end of the season, that is a Star Trek show. It's not just a cheap grab for comedy. Those shows are written to be great Star Trek episodes.
No, they're not. Shut up.
Yes, they appeal. Yes, they appeal to younger audiences as much as they will hopefully appeal to diehard fans. Like, look at this. He's saying that they appeal to younger audiences, but he's not really sure that it appeals to diehard fans. He's like, hopefully it does. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Caviteño Che is saying R&B got a cease and desist takedown notice for keeping a stream about 3 Con series scripts on YouTube. Oh, that Con show is actually real? That rumor about they wanted that guy to be Con, the guy. What was from Slumdog Millionaire? Is that what they're talking about, Che? I have to oh, that's interesting. He was like, R&B has connections because he got that. He was the one who had he started talking about the script for what's his name, Star Wars movie, the guy who's doing Jurassic.
Trevorrow.
Yeah, Trevorrow, Colin Trevorrow. Yeah, he had his script right up, and was talking about it, and then it finally started circulating and then there was all the concept art that leaked too. Wow, so the
Neville
Con
saying
series
it's
is
allegedly real.
R&B got an email from Nicholas Meyer direct.
Oh.
Huh.
Whoa.
All right, I'll have to. If any of y'all are on Twitter, DM me the stream where he talks about. Oh, well, I guess it's taken down now, but
any info, just send it his way.
Well,
Oh, he said to stop talking about. Well, that's not what we do here.
No, because
we report on rumors.
Yeah.
dude, Tom might have
You
it.
know where
Tom,
you are?
Yeah.
Tom might have
hello,
a
John
backup.
Willis. It's good to see you. Stephen Ernst is saying, I think a phone call from Meyer. Yeah, DM me Bounty Comics on Twitter. Whatever that stream was, if he talks about it. Because yeah, I think you did that story, Spencer, about the con one.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to ask Tom. I'll follow up with Tom on that.
Check it out.
I think the goal is to always try and find the sweet blah blah. I can't say premise, and I can't say sweet spot. I think the goal is to always try and find the sweet spot where you are able to get both. I don't think that's happening.
I don't think you found it yet.
I will say I think you are totally right with how the animation looks. That actually looks.
It
like
looks so pretty, yeah.
The animation is like super pretty, but the art style is just so trash.
It's that Rick and Morty crap, and it's so boring. It's like almost insulting.
Scripts are real, and he was emailed to take the stream down. Oh, they didn't actually like flag the stream, so the video's still up. Che. R&B was real scared about whether he could say who or not. He said it in a me stream the last couple of days. I don't know what you're saying there, John Willis. Scared about say what? You know, what is he scared about? If you already had it on the stream.
Probably an NDA or something.
Did he sign one?
I mean, we did those Dune spoilers a year ago, and like nothing happened, but we only got like less than 1,000 views, but we were right. We were right. And we only we couldn't confirm that she was playing it. That was literally like what my source was like speculating on. It was just his speculation or their speculation. But like that was like we didn't confirm that.
Right.
But that speculation was right. We only confirmed that it was going to be a gender swap. And that's because we had the hard evidence to confirm it. And that's why anytime we run an exclusive, that we have that information.
Back it up, yeah.
That's the difference between when we run a rumor as the first word, where we don't have independent confirmation. So later on in this interview, Kurtzman would be asked what he thinks about fans who complain about the politics in Star Trek. He said, I find it amazing, but Dan, who's like the host for the Hollywood Reporter, you're exactly right. Honestly, it's a weird testament to how powerful the franchise is that you can still miss the message completely and love it. I find that to be incredible. So if we can get that and we can get people who completely get the message and love it, great, fantastic. That question was like actually like horrible. It was a really bad question, and the way he answered it was like trash too. Because like it's the same when people are saying like, I don't want politics in my fiction. It's not that they don't want politics in their fiction. People are totally fine with like in-universe politics in their fiction. That's why Dune is one of the most beloved science fiction films of all time, and it's like the whole setting is political intrigue and power grabs to control the galaxy. Like that's literally what's happening there. Like the whole reason why they go to Arrakis is because the Emperor is sending the Atreides there because he fears Duke Atreides is growing in power and can rival him to rule. Like that's literally why he sends them to Arrakis, and like plots with the Harkonnens. Like literally, it's like so much palace intrigue in that book, and people love it. Game of Thrones, perfect example. How much palace intrigue is in that? It's constantly is like people are constantly scheming and
plotting,
backstabbing, and plotting. There's so much politics happening in there, in that. So people love the politics in their in-universe setting. It's when they're being lectured by these left-wing lunatics on what you should believe as like a human being.
Yeah,
like, that's what they're talking about. And so him saying like, I find it. He's talking about like people who are missing the message. Just because, from what I understand, the message that you're putting out, like Don was clearly saying, is like, yes, they were providing you with a moral lesson, but it was to make you think about that moral lesson. It wasn't beating you over the head on like, this is the moral lesson you must understand. So yeah, propaganda is what we hate. Exactly. So his answer is, the question was trash, and then the answer obviously is going to be trash because wasn't actually asked by an actual fan who could have asked that like way better.
Right.
Like I actually had to reword that sentence, like how I
led him very hard.
Yeah, totally led him. So like I actually had to reword the intro sentence after like I re-listened to like that his answer, because I had it like I reworded I what is the word see again I'm messing up the word that I'm trying to think of here. I paraphrased. That's the word. I paraphrased the question a little bit differently, and then I was no, the way I had paraphrased it, I was like totally like way out of line. So I was like, I need to change that. But yeah, it's not about having politics. It's about how those politics are presented, and whether or not you're literally trying to beat people over the head. And he admits that here. He says it up here. He talks about like that he has like he wants to push specific ideas. Like he's literally says that.
The platform.
Like he admits it. Yeah, the platform, which he said in that was a couple months ago, right?
That was the freaking Comic-Con at home.
Yeah, at San Diego. So that was like July, right? Yeah, Stephen Ernst is saying Dune is more. Yeah, Dune is science fiction.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, Dune is the seminal science fiction book. It is to science fiction what Lord of the Rings is to fantasy. It's totally science fiction. So as long as it's fantasy and doesn't reflect modern day, I think you can have like I'm not against stories reflecting like anytime you use the word reflecting modern day, it's like that's like a signal that this is woke trash, right? Like anytime someone says that it's like a signal for woke trash. But I'm not against having shows that talk about modern day issues, but they also have to, it can't be specific to your time. You have to be talking about the problem from a human perspective. So like
how it relates to right now.
It's like the struggle of someone losing their job. Like that's not like, yes, that can be specific to us here, but like people 1,000 years ago also lost their job. So that is like something that is happens to humans across the course of history. It's something that like almost anyone can relate to. So you can have like discussions on that and like have interesting stories around something like that. But it's like when you're literally like Orange Man bad, and it's like literally about like the 8 years in the 21st century, or 4 to potentially 8 years in the 21st century, where Donald Trump is like president.
Right,
like,
it's gonna age like milk.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's crap. I don't like. That's something I don't want to see.
Yeah, Kurtzman Trek is like the black second in command can't get ahead because of the white patriarchal commander keeping her down and keeping her under the glass ceiling. Whereas in old Trek, it would be them encountering a society where the women are being burdened by men overlords or whatever, or they wouldn't even have women and men. They would have something else, and they would make us think about the issues that surround that, and maybe try to apply that into other areas.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Which that's like interesting. Like I think Game of Thrones is as much as like I like literally stopped reading those books, and I had stopped pretty much watching the shows. That first season with Ned Stark's character is actually, is actually pretty decent. You see his like moral struggles on whether or not like he should support his friend, or he sees he sees the decline in the kingdom, and when he has this chance to maybe kind of overthrow him, and he chooses not to, and so like that's you can relate to that, because it's like, do I betray my friend who's maybe living this more like not such a great lifestyle, and he's going down this wrong path, and he's like really hurting his family, or do I try and stick with him and see if I can help him from beside him? And so like those are like things that can actually happen to you.
Yeah.
On a personal level.
Makes a great point though. Orville seems to be getting the younger crowd, and it's getting the older Trek crowd too.
Let's see here. Let's get rid of what's this guy's name? Riker. Who is the girl? Is that supposed to be Deanna Troi?
Deanna Troi?
That is Troy, yeah.
Okay.
Riker and Troy.
Why is her hair normally? I guess her hair is normally like that. She just looks so smug. I think it's the way her eyes are.
Yeah, it's that art style. You can only have the attitude of like smug and angry straw man.
Or crack awake.
She just looks so. She looks like it's like I don't even want to watch this person because she looks like she's just gonna condescend to me and like. Now you hear this, little boy. All right, here. So you said the younger people are watching the Orville. I'm gonna pull it up here. Yeah, Mark63366 says she had curly hair. Did she? I thought she had the straight hair. I don't know.
Did she have straight hair in some episodes?
I feel like she just changed her hair a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, comparing the Orville season 2. This is season 2 Orville. So you saw the ratings for Discovery was like 0.2 and 0.3, right, on on CBS. So this is Fox. This is another big network here. 18 to 49 demo when it premiered. First season premiere 1.52, but the lowest it is what 0.6. I think this is the lowest. 0.6. That's yeah. So you have a lot more, and I mean the viewers is what 2.5. So it's about like 1.5 million more. But you also have this huge ratings boost too. So yeah, the Orville definitely is bringing in the younger crowd for sure.
And they seem to mimic more of the Gene Roddenberry theme and feel than
that's what I've heard,
right?
That's what it seems to me. I haven't watched. I'll be honest. I haven't watched any of it. So
I don't know.
Star Trek and the Orville, for the most part, aren't the type of sci-fi that I watch. I like the. I always like I like Stargate, SG-1, and I really like Dark Matter. Those are like the sci-fi shows that I watched. Dark Matter is fantastic. Love that show. Okay. So yeah, those are the ratings for the Orville, and way better than
Star Trek.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Orville's universe is hopeful, whereas Kurtzman Trek is depressing. Yeah, don't they like literally torture people and like rip people's eyes out in Picard?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Seemed very hopeful, and like doesn't he like die and become like a robot?
Yes. This is the dumbest thing. He dies and becomes a robot so he can live forever and have more adventures until Patrick Stewart is dead. And then they'll say, oh, now he's a data hologram. And they'll CG him. And we'll have Star Trek Picard season 20.
Someone, I don't know if it was you or if it was like Script Doctor, but like someone was like, this dude's like a meat puppet, and then he literally becomes a meat puppet at the end of the show.
I think that was Script, yeah. So good.
The average 10 murders a show on Picard. Yeah, I did watch the first episode when it was free on YouTube. There's like, I guess the Romulans were like dressed up and they were like randomly attacking Picard. Like,
sheer
out of nowhere.
TD hubris.
Yeah. Even on lower decks, they ripped out the guy's bionic implants.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Yeah, you talked about that. You said how it was like pretty realistic.
Yeah, like like the half robot dude gets his like eye implant ripped out, and you see like the weak skin underneath it and the cave where his eye was. I was not expecting that at all. It was nuts.
Out of all
Doctor,
the Deep Space Nine that we've seen, what was the most gory thing we saw?
I mean, the people dying during the pandemic on the ship, maybe.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really gory. They
That's what
weren't
I'm saying.
puking blood or
Right, that's the point,
they were
right?
just talking nonsense.
I'm trying to, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess you could say, what's her name getting injured during the game? He gets trapped. The one guy gets trapped. Like, she get trapped in the rocks or whatever?
Oh my gosh, the hopscotch episode.
Yeah, the hopscotch. Yeah, she gets trapped in the rocks or whatever, and then like they're able to free her, and she's like kind of cut up a little bit, but that's about it. I get
Rated
the first
G violence.
the first episode where his wife dies. It's all like burning down around him. The ship's coming down around him.
Not a drop of blood on her though.
True. Dr. Coffin says that Quark took a poo once.
so visceral.
I mean, usually because the phasers don't they don't like cut you in half or anything. They like stun you or like insta kill you.
Yeah.
Like shock your heart or something. I don't know how they like. Someone else can help me out. How do the phasers actually like you? I know you can set them to stun and they stun you, but like when you're not having them set to stun, what do they do to actually like damage you? Is it like makes you cause like
What's
does
the
it make
most
you have like
lethal
a
setting?
does it make you have like a heart attack when it hits you or
I think it's like a Star Wars laser shot. Like it's just a straight up laser burn.
well what it's a laser burn? Okay.
Did they ever have it on the full setting?
Yeah, it's happened before.
Mhm.
They do it. It's not the best example, but I know they do it in the Abrams movies.
Yeah, you're right. And they usually have like a burn marker on there like
Yeah.
hit.
Like a scorch mark.
John Willis says you can be vaporized or incinerated.
Oh yeah, I saw in
Okay.
Star Trek Continues they actually vaporize somebody.
No.
How do you
They just disappear.
They had it in the older movies too.
How does that work if you vaporize someone when they're like trying to like if like they're murdered? How do you like is there any like residue left over if they were vaporized?
The body glows for a little bit and then it just disappears from what I saw.
Dr. Coffinale says they disrupt your molecules.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. Lots and lots of smoke. but
Production
like,
value.
I guess what I'm asking is if you're like an assassin or whatever, like wouldn't you always just go around like vaporizing people and they would never be able to catch you?
Instead of doing anything else.
Yeah, like how would they like solve murders if you could just vaporize people? Just like I don't know. I just a thought. I don't know.
No,
It's
true. It's like if there's such a powerful weapon, why use anything else?
because I know Dr. Bashir has like all the science stuff that he's able to like find, and they can like follow you through warp or whatever, right? They can track you when you jump to warp. No.
Can they? I don't.
I have no idea.
They do in the Abrams movies where the ship
I know.
warp and like knocks them out of warp while they're in warp.
It's like all we can reference.
Mark 63366 says they don't have assassins in Star Trek. That's not true. What were the Romulans doing in Picard in season 1?
Wait, what about the guys that Quark hired in that one episode?
Yeah, Quark hired those. They were like mercs to like hijack the ship, right?
Not quite assassins though.
Not quite, but
Thuggish.
concept exists. Money for hire.
I don't know. I feel like they have to have assassins in Star Trek.
Yeah, everybody has assassins.
Yeah.
We have assassins.
There's no assassins in Star Trek? No way.
Wait a minute. The last movie, there was an assassin hired to kill the Prime Counselor, who was a Klingon.
We've got a couple. I looked it up. There's some in Picard. There's some in DS9, The Undiscovered Country, TNG. Yeah.
The last
They're
movie,
the-
the last Star Trek old.
Yeah, Star Trek
movie.
6, The Undiscovered Country.
6. Yeah.
Mega Jetty, Jeffrey Turner says nobody can fire on vaporized mode on a Federation starship without setting off an alarm.
Oh, Undiscovered Country. Yeah. Okay.
Is that a
The
TNG
phasers
episode?
actually did, at least
No, it's a movie.
in the movie continuity, they had,
Undiscovered Country is a movie?
yeah,
Yeah.
Star Trek 6.
Star Trek.
Okay. I'm not a Star Trek guy. I'm like,
I know.
very honest about it.
Dad was.
That's why you're coming to it late. It's all good.
Dr. Coffinail says at lower settings, it disrupts your nervous system. At higher levels, it can heat rock or metal. At highest setting,
Think
it
about the
shifts your
nervous system.
quantum state out of this dimension. Okay.
Oh, okay. That explains that.
Do they have shields like in Dune that can like disrupt like energy beams, energy weapons?
Yeah, shields in
Well,
over a space
so
station. and-
Dune has shields that
Ship.
disrupt like physical attacks, not energy. I think if I'm correct.
I mean, all I know is that the ships have like their shields.
but can you
But
have
as
like
we saw
personal
in
shields?
DS9, those shields can be taken down.
No personal shields. Okay, that's interesting. They have shields that obviously can protect physical matter in a spaceship, but not organic. That's okay.
All right. So
All right. Yeah.
you're after midnight.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We really do appreciate it. We're gonna go around the horn here and give an update on what we're working on, when you can see us next. So we'll start with Spencer.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure. Every Wednesday night is a fun time. You can catch me pretty much daily on Bounding into Comics. We got more news articles coming your way tomorrow. We've got a cool One Piece article coming your way that I still need to do some of the voice recording for. And aside from that, yeah, check me out on Twitter at Kabuto Rider Mav.
Yeah, Spencer's got to get on me for uploading his the last two God of High School reviews.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really slacking on that. So we'll try and get those up.
No worries.
tomorrow.
You're a busy guy.
All right, Drew, what do you got?
All right. So, interestingly enough, before I wrote my story today, I've been working on a little idea that, credit to John, he came up with, and I did a top 10 for us of the top 10 sci-fi shows ever, which now has been expanded to the top 16.
Well, you expanded it yourself.
Yeah, so
You had a lot of honorable mentions. So I was
we
like,
had
let's just do 16.
So we're just gonna do like the top 16. So I'm gonna finish, put the finishing touches on that, and you guys will have that to read. So I'm sure that that'll be a nice thing. That as many of you that knows me in this community, people probably debate that with me till the end of time. I'll have like people coming out of the woodwork like, how could you rank this higher than this, blah blah blah. So I'm looking forward to that with you guys, and that should be out in the next couple days. And then of course I've got a couple other regular stories to write. I think I'm gonna write one about Lower Decks tomorrow, and then I've got Sunday, the Twitch stream will be finally making its return, and this time I don't care if I have to like drag Spencer. He and I are gonna Dead by Daylight it on Sunday, so you guys can come to Twitch, and at least watching our channel, you won't have to worry about us being woke bots, because we're not going to tell you guys what to do. So,
But he might try and turn into a thought, though. We'll see.
yeah, I don't know.
He does a good job of killing those in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
What's like the base chick that everyone plays?
Oh,
The base.
I don't know. There's a lot of.
She's like a one that comes with a game. That's what I meant. Like the.
Well, there's like 8 of them that come with the game. 8.
Yeah, but they all play the same. Everyone usually plays the one white chick.
Meg.
Yeah, her Meg.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like at least that's what when I was playing Killer. That's what I was always going up against Megs.
Killing all the Megs. Nice.
Yeah.
Meg or Nia. There's a lot of people that play Nia too, but a lot of people here, a lot of people play Meg because she has sprint burst. That's why.
Oh, okay. All right, Don, what do you got?
Well, aside from getting a bunch of books that I have to read, and not
Sentence
reading
by
them.
sentence, month by month.
Shh. Anyway, so I'm checking out a story on Spider-Man and Deadpool somehow crossing universes. So yeah, I'm checking that out.
Hey, the Spider-Verse is happening. Why wouldn't it?
I know. What?
Why not? Why not?
We're gonna have Avengers versus JLA in 2030.
Yeah. No, we're gonna have that next year.
I just want JSA versus JLA.
Yeah, you're probably right.
In order to save the movie theaters, there needs to be something big. Just
And that'll be
go
it.
home.
You're right. You're right.
JSA versus JLA will happen first.
So I'll check that out, and then I'm also checking out Akudama Drive. Akudama Drive.
Never heard of that.
What is it?
It's an anime. Everyone's like telling me that I need to go see this. If I like Cyberpunk 2077 and I like anime, then this is something that I need to really check out because
All right.
they're giving it high praise.
Okay.
They're giving it more praise than I guess When Cicadas Cry, the 2020.
Oh wow, for
thing
real?
that just came out as well. So
Stephen Ernest asked, "You didn't talk about the Monster Hunter trailer." No, I haven't even. I saw that it came out and people were talking about it, but I haven't even watched it yet.
It's gonna be terrible, and that's why I'm excited.
Do you want to watch it like right now? We'll watch it right now.
oh wait, that's Resident Evil chick, right?
Yeah, it's
and Resident Evil director.
yeah,
who's
her husband,
her husband.
Oh, with
Paul W.S. Anderson.
yeah, with Mila. Yes.
Yep, Mila.
Yeah. Even though all those movies usually suck, I don't know. I just like.
Yeah, right? They're like fun.
I just like watching Mila. And look,
real.
I know that people go back and forth about the Resident Evil movies. The first two movies were good. I liked them.
I did too. I'm behind you on that one.
Dude, search Monster Hunter movie. Of course, the top thing.
Oh God, IGN.
It's above the actual.
It's above the actual studios.
Studio.
Yeah.
So like ridiculous. All right, I gotta unplug my.
Yeah,
headphones.
make sure you share the sound.
Yeah, I gotta put the sound.
And we'll probably be taken down after this because
No, they just copyright the videos, so
No.
Yeah.
unless we trash the trailer,
it's not making anything anyways.
it's not.
I think I got like 4 copyright notices for our last one last week,
Dude.
because we did like 3 trailers.
I can't even tell you how many I got for the Dune trailer.
Yeah, they're not striking you; they're just like copyright claiming it. So I don't know who actually is going to win the copyright claim on that because it was like 3 different companies.
3 different people. Let them fight it out. Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is Monster Hunter. It's based off of a video game. So apparently there's like a dragon. So we'll see.
Captain,
What'd you find?
it's definitely Bravo team, but the tracks end here.
T.I.
Here.
He's everywhere.
Why is T.I. up in a movie? Shouldn't he be bitching about politics?
Yeah. I remember someone getting up in a sand desert before. Was not a good movie. All right, that is a dope kaiju.
That's impressive.
That monster looks cool.
Pretty badass.
That
It
looks
better
cool,
than
too.
the sandworm of Dune. Sorry.
Whoa, that looks really cool.
Ooh.
It's got a little Jurassic Park vibe there.
Lush tropical.
Why are people fighting other people? What is this?
You
It's like an isekai.
Yeah.
They don't
Exactly
know
what it
each other
is.
yet.
Whoa, there was the monster again. Look at that. Hold on, I'm gonna pause that. That was cool. Oh, you're gonna die, bro.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Give me your hand. Getting on that. That thing is still gaining on the car. Like,
Yeah.
You
Just-
are
Man.
toast.
We're all
Or
dead.
else he's just gonna get like the dude's arm.
Oh, now she's training.
Gotta tell me about that.
Whoa, a ship sailing on the sand? Whoa, that is cool.
Whoa.
Okay. I lied about going to the movie theater. I'm gonna go for this.
What?
What the?
Yes. Oh no, don't kill
What?
it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm rooting for the kaiju.
Oh yeah, it's kind of
It's gonna be schlock and it's gonna be great.
Okay.
kind of dope.
I'm down.
I like it. It's kind
Game over, man. Yeah, that guy totally got a game
And
over.
there's Grace.
yeah.
Stephen Ernest is so true. The monster CGI looks good. Oh yeah, that's because I was. Yeah, I guess she's there. Yeah.
She's our
I want to.
Oh, wait, there's another trailer. Shay is saying international trailer is different than the regular one because that was the international trailer. Let's okay. Does Sony is Sony have the regular one on there? It loads.
What?
God, man, Mila's still looking good.
Yeah, how old is she?
Here's
Gorgeous.
All right, here's this one. Oh, this one has 688,000. Okay. All right, so we'll watch this one. Whoa, the dragon's there right away. All right, here's the first one then.
Didn't we see that thing in Game of Thrones though?
Yeah, Drogon. But dude, it's still like I mean, at least, like I'm so happy that Game of Thrones finally did the dragons right because so many people do these like crappy, like garbage dragons, and they finally got like a really good dragon. All right, so here, oh dude, this has a ton of downvotes, 7K. Holy crap!
Wow.
Because it is very not much like the game, but I mean, was anybody really expecting it to be?
No, they were very clear that she was,
adaptation.
yeah, they were very clear that she was being, that was a Westworld dragon. Fake. I haven't used. There's dragons in Westworld.
There are?
I hadn't
Probably Westeros. They meant to say.
No, I mean Westworld and I don't know. All right, here we go. Here's the regular one.
I hate how they do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
similar. That's similar to the international one.
Okay.
Captain, do you have any idea what those markers are?
They look pretty ancient.
I do hate that they're like
Tracks in
UN
here.
soldiers.
Definitely Bravo team.
They don't just
They should be wearing blue hats.
None of them have different accents.
Yeah, you're totally right, Spencer. Isekai.
Where the hell are we?
Yep, there's the term. Where are we?
Guys,
Whoa, look at those bones.
We
Holy,
like Guardians of the Galaxy now?
oh, that's dumb.
Oh my gosh, really?
You want to make that reference?
She looks scared out of her mind. I would be too, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would be too.
Did you see that thing?
Oh,
Okay.
you didn't see those in the international trailer.
Yeah,
Those things were creepy, man. These bug things.
Probably too creepy for Chinese audiences. That's why they didn't show it.
yeah.
Close the gateway.
Oh, what was that tower?
The Dark Tower. Remember that movie?
I
Oh,
wish
wait, destroy them and close the gateway? What is that? I don't know if I like that. Just why can't you just fight monsters? just to fight monsters.
So she has the blades of chaos.
Yeah, that's exactly. Thank you. That's what they look like. I'm trying to put my freaking tongue on it.
I like this. Yeah, this is all right.
I think I like the international trailer better.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
National trailer was cool.
hands down.
The only thing I liked about the domestic one was those spider things.
The creepy crawlies.
Yeah, the creepy crawly guys. Those were because they were like so different from all the other monsters we've really seen, which are kind of like dragon, dinosaur like, where those were like
Plus 3 Vorpal blades. Only a freaking nerd would say.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Nerd.
they're supposed to be like the dual blades. They actually are like from the game, from what I understand. Those.
All right. So, thumbs up for me. Cheesy hot chicks in action. I like it.
Wait, how many other Resident Evils did you see, Drew?
I've seen every Resident Evil movie that.
So you're biased. Of course.
Yeah,
Wait, did you see Underworld?
You guys said, yeah.
Yes.
Then you are very biased.
Damn right. Listen, if I could, Don, I would make like a female Expendables movie and put in like Mila and Katie Sackhoff and friggin' Trisha Helper and.
Dude,
we'd have
what's her name?
Kate Beckinsale, and we'd have to have a cameo from Linda Hamilton and a cameo from Sigourney and
Yes, thank you, Sigourney.
we have to have all of them, dude.
That's like a 40-minute fat fest right there.
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
Number one at the box office, baby.
That'd be awesome. Yes.
It'll be better than 455.
Yeah.
5 movie.
Yeah. So, no, I like it. This is a good cheesy fun movie, and I mean, it has the Mila Jovovich movie formula, which is like completely unbelievable but fun. So I'll go.
It looks like it's just pure kind of fantasy a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not like trying to scold you or lecture you, and it's just like this is a girl fighting a bunch of dragons in another world. Like, get to it.
That's all you need.
It is.
And the CGI looks really good, and that's what you want, like really cool looking monsters, and people taking on the monsters. And in this case, you want to see the people fighting the monsters. That's the one thing I didn't like about the international trailer. I didn't want to see that. No humans fighting. Have them fight the monsters.
Right.
Like monster. It's Monster Hunter. Fight the monsters.
Not human fighter.
Yeah, it's one big thing with Godzilla. Like I know that there's like in the past, Godzilla is always about like he has a lot of there's a lot of human elements to it, but just show me Godzilla fighting other kaiju, man. Just it's what I want to see.
But this
All right.
makes me think like they could really do a live action God of War then.
Yeah, probably. That's
I
probably
mean, everything can be live action now,
that's
dude.
probably coming down the road, dude.
Have you watched the Uncharted? Have you even Final Fantasy 13 cinematics?
Yeah.
Were like super good. Like
Yeah,
don't
but
even
Hollywood
need
needs
to-
money.
you don't even need to do. Well, yeah, obviously they
They
do,
need
but
to
like
tap into that.
I mean, they're trying to. Like, Netflix is doing like 6 animated films a year now. Disney's completely restructuring to focus on their like what did they have the word for it? Direct to consumer, which is Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN Plus. So yeah, I mean, they're doing that. I mean, they're trying to. I think it's a really rash decision for Disney to do that. But the markets seem to like it, from what I read. 5% uptick in their stock after they made that announcement. But
All right. So see, audience, we love to please you. we stuck around, gave you some bonus coverage of the Monster Hunter trailer. So hope you guys like that.
Yeah, thank you for that tip there, Stephen Ernest. That suggestion, because that was actually we ended on a high note there.
Yeah,
Enjoyed that.
So make sure you catch us again next week as we come with another Bounding Live on Wednesday, and Sunday we will be doing, as I said, on our Twitch channel. I'm gonna drag Spencer away from his nap, and we'll go and play some Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, and I've got so tomorrow, look for a James Bond video. I wasn't able to get it up tonight. I ran into the stream here, but I did start it, so I got the bones working. I got it all recorded. I just got to get the images all in the right spot and add in my audio, so look forward to that tomorrow. It doesn't look good for James Bond. It does not look good.
Not even shocked.
It looks really bad for James Bond. I think he will be dying after No Time to Die. Is what it seems like. So look forward to that.
Apparently,
I don't know if that's anything to really look forward to, but yeah, No Time to Die. He's going to die. Like the character's literally going to die. So look forward. Like, check that out tomorrow. Have a video and then an article accompanying it. The video, they're a little bit different. There's some different things in each of them. And then what else? Oh, I will also be on Friday on Gary's Friday Night Tights stream. I think it's, I don't know when it starts now. I think they start at 5 Eastern. I'm not sure, but I'll be on that. So look forward to that. It's been a while since I've been on there, so it should be a fun show. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't even know what we're going to talk about, but it should be good. I'm sure Lady Gravemaster will let me know what's happening. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm reading like Dr. Coffinill's No Time to Get Seed, and then No Time to Virus, Scary Times. And
Cavatino Che.
I wrote off Bond after he posed in a dress. I mean, yeah, that's why the Tom Holland one, I can't really get in. He did that whole like dress thing too. He did like a whole like dance routine, I think, and like was singing or something with his. And I don't remember.
As a dancer, he is on point.
When did Daniel
person?
Craig? Yeah, when did Daniel Craig get in a dress? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, there's like a video of Tom Holland like cross-dressing and like singing some kind of
it wasn't
like,
a dress though. It was very risque wear.
Oh, yeah, maybe it wasn't a dress, but he does cross-dress and he's singing some like crappy pop tune.
I guess Daniel
Umbrella
Craig did dress
by
up like a
Rihanna.
lady.
Yes. Don, you know way too much about Tom Holland.
Oh, man. Yes.
One super fan. He stands.
Yeah, so that's what we got, James Bond, and dude, I couldn't believe when I read that, man. It was so bad. And they hit it at the bottom of the article too, because it was like they wanted to hide that. I mean, she said it though, so which is the producer said it. Yeah, Friday Night Tights, we'll see what happens there. I'm looking forward to it. I think going to be a full team on there, so this should be fun. All right, we will be back again on Wednesday around 9 p.m. Eastern time for Abounding Live, where we kind of do what we did today. We talk about the stories of the week. We look at trailers. We give you our honest reaction to them, and we're not afraid to tell you our opinions on things, and we're also not afraid to disagree with each other.
Yeah.
And be civil about it. So thank you all again for joining us, and hope you have a great night, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.